Hey Josh, so I saw Love Hurts yesterday. Have you heard it? You know about this movie, right? This is the new Pee-wee Kwan thing.
I am aware of the movie. I begrudgingly have seen the trailer 42 times.
I see it a lot in the theater, yeah. The trailer, yeah.
I didn't know it was out.
Yeah. It's out in the theater. It's like a Valentine's Day action comedy thing, so they're trying to get it out in time for Valentine's Day, and yeah, I put my review up, so I've said my piece on it. It's not good.
I figured, I was about to say, I haven't seen your review yet. I just saw that you posted it.
It's very
not
good.
Your icon kind of told, or your
thumbnail, right? No.
Yeah, kind of told me what I needed to know. January and February.
It's very not good, and it's a shame because like the action in it is like top notch. Like they did a really good job in the few and far between action sequences that are in it. They did a really good job. And Pee-wee Kwan's great. He makes, he's the reason you watch it. Him and Ariana DeBose are great. And there's just like a lot of like B plots that bog it down, and it should have been like it's a simple action comedy, and they don't do that, and it's one of those overly convoluted plots. But I'm going to tell you, don't watch the movie, but what you should do is when it comes out, go on YouTube and watch the Sean Astin scenes. He is stellar in this movie, like hilarious. That's one thing I'm going to recommend for you to do. So yeah, nothing Star Wars related there up top, but yeah.
Well, funny enough, I just watched a movie that had Sean Astin in it.
Oh, was that with Sean Astin, the one you just watched?
Yeah, Discworld's A Color of Magic, the BBC adaptation.
Oh, I didn't know he was in it though. Okay.
Yeah, he's in it. He's one of the main characters.
Yeah, he's great. I love him every time.
Yes, he did a really good job.
Yeah, he's great.
Really good job.
Yeah, and seeing him and Kiwi in the movie together, that was awesome. I mean, it was the Goonies brothers back together. That scene, It's one scene that they get together, but it really works. But every scene that Sean Astin's in the movie, he nails it, kills it. He's hilarious. I was like, I was thinking about you watching it last night. I was like, if Josh was with me, he'd be dying at the Sean Astin scenes. He's so good in this. So anyway, welcome to Starlight Shadows. Today we are going to continue our favorites lists. I suppose we did villains last week. We're going to do heroes this week, and I'm excited to dive into this conversation. At the end of the show, we're going to do a little spoiler discussion on a sort of fan film anime adaptation of Heir of the Empire that we'll be discussing in spoilers. So once we get there, you guys can tune out. But for the first part, please stick around for the heroes discussion. We definitely want to know your favorite heroes as well, and let's see what we missed. Josh, I went first last week. Do you want to go first this week?
I don't care either way.
Go ahead.
All right, let's see here.
Oh, for the audience tuning in, we both picked 10. We have not shown each other these lists, so we don't really know who's going to be on them, but we picked 10 that we thought would be worthy of discussion. So go ahead, Josh.
I feel like we need to start off strong to open up, a little icebreaker, a little
sure.
Heat it up a bit. So I'm going to go with, I know one of your favorites and one of my favorites, Sabine Wren.
Wow, that's too strong. That's too strong.
Too strong. Well, see, she's not my goat, so that's why I didn't open it with it.
It's fine. It's my goat. If it was me, I was going to save her for last, but that's okay. We could start out strong too. Go ahead, Josh. What do you like about Sabine?
All right. So first off, I am gonna. This is why she's not my goat. I'm gonna take off points. I'm gonna start off with my hero praising. I'm gonna knock down a couple points on her. Kind of dropped the ball in Ahsoka. She kind of gave them the key.
She did.
She screwed up there. She screwed up. But that being said, her armor's amazing. Let's just go with that. The character style, awesome. Little punk Mandalorian, who doesn't love that?
Yeah.
Kind of gives you Spider-Gwen vibes.
Yeah.
I remember when Rebels first came out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember describing her to people like, yeah, she's kind of like if Boba Fett and Spider-Gwen merged.
Yeah.
Her character arc is amazing. I mean, all right, let's go to episode 1 of Rebels, Dom.
Yeah.
Future you pops in, and he goes, that's going to be a Jedi to fight Thrawn.
No, right, exactly. Yeah, that's
we saw that. One of the best episodes, and I know you could probably quote the scene, so I'm not even going to butcher the quote. Kanan and her training with the dark saber.
Yeah.
Mandalore.
Yeah.
That's one of the best moments. I'm not even going to attempt his quotes. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
I know you know because I'm pretty sure you have it tattooed on your arm.
So what's the truth? I remember the scene very well.
Yeah. I think you drunkenly told me that whole situation. Like you storyboard in front of me with your hands, and it was a whole ordeal. It's fine. I do.
Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me.
No judge. Other great things.
I'll say too. I mean, I'll start on this. I mean, this is my, as of right now, number one favorite character in Star Wars. So there's a lot of reasons, and you touched on a couple of them. One is the arc, and we're talking about this arc that's, sort of, it's like she's being primed to be our Luke right now. You know what I mean? Like for the New Republic era, the main character, hopefully the poster, child, at some point, if they ever do, eventually, like they said, they're going to transition into films with these New Republic characters. I mean, I would think that, having Sabine front and center makes a lot of sense. She has that Luke trajectory of, she's the one being trained to be a Jedi right now in the New Republic era, but also, hesitant to the Force a little bit, even though the difference with her, and I think almost what makes her so much cooler, is that we saw her arc becoming a true Mandalorian throughout Rebels first. So you have that built, on top of being a Jedi, and I think that's just what puts her slightly above Luke Skywalker for me, because we just have a fuller arc at this point with this character. I also find for myself it's a little bit of personal bias, because you did mention the punk rock angle, because that's something I can relate to. That's how I grew up on punk rock music and things of that nature. So that's something that I can relate to with the character. The aesthetic is amazing. I like both actresses that tackled, the character, Natasha Liu Bordizzo and Tia Sircar. I thought both just did a phenomenal job voicing the role. So yeah, it's just, she's one of these characters too that is, I like her, what would you call it? I don't want to say diva, that's too much. She's just got an edge. She's got edge.
Girl boss.
What?
Girl boss,
yes, thank you. Boss vibes. And also, you mentioned Spider-Gwen. I probably should have just said that. But yeah, so, girl boss vibes, but also internal struggles that, are very relatable at the same time. She's always struggling internally with something. So she's very emo, I guess, which is the other part I can relate to. I suppose that's how she gets the sort of punk rock vibes, going there. Her entrance in Ahsoka was one of the greatest things ever. Her on the speeder bike, seeing Natasha do it for the first time was amazing, and I was blown away by that rendition of the character, and that series is really what solidified for me. Is like, damn it, I love Sabine. Like Sabine is my all-time fave, and yeah, sorry Luke, because he was right there, man. So yeah, this character to me is just, it means the world. So this is my favorite thing Dave Filoni created. And he's created a lot of great things for Star Wars, but Sabine is his best singular creation to me. So yeah, man, can't say enough about that. But yeah, go on, Josh.
I mean, you kind of buried the lead there. I mean, it's your favorite character, but I mean, what more is there to be said? Like, you perfectly put it. I mean, and we'll talk about adaptation, I guess. I mean, it doesn't really go into the character's detail, but the fact, like, Natasha seems like she was made in a factory to play this character.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Remember when she was first cast, I was like, did he know her beforehand and designed the character around her?
Yeah, it really is crazy. Like, it's crazy how Taylor made that really did feel like going from animated to live action. Yeah, it was seamless to me, and yeah, she was tailor made to play the character, but also
incredibly sweet person too. When we met her.
Yeah, we have met her, and she's amazing. But yeah, no, she's awesome. But the thing I would go into also about Sabine is I just enjoy her interactions with other characters, like her relationship with Ezra and relationships with all the characters, all the Rebels crew. And how much you know what I think it was too is like how much of a surprise it was that the show was going to be so centered around Sabine, because for seasons 1 and 2 of Rebels, she's great, but she's very much not front and center, and then she actually becomes a lot of the center of the story, especially when we're moving into the Mandalorian stuff towards season 4 and 3 and 4, I should say. 3 is really where it starts to pick up for Sabine and her and little seeds that are even planted in season 1 and 2 about that character just became so front and center and one of the most integral parts of the story. I enjoy that she just never gives up on Ezra, on trying to find Ezra. She did a no there, and we were all mad at her for it, but
I wanted Thrawn, so I was like,
of course, right, yeah. Obviously, it led to Thrawn, but you also have to understand, like if you're actually watching this from Rebels, it's like she's been determined to find the answers, about Ezra at the same time. So it's like this has been weighing on her mind for a long time, and so you almost in the moment anyway, she feels like she has nothing left, I feel like, because she thinks Ahsoka's gone at that point, and she just feels like she has nothing left, so.
Well, it's like too, like when she goes back to the ghost in Ahsoka,
mm-hmm.
and you see she goes to her old bed, and there's like it almost looked like a family drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, that was her home, that was her family.
Mm-hmm.
When Ezra left, all of it left.
Yeah.
Kanan died, spoilers. Hera went further into the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Ezra dead or missing in action.
Mm-hmm.
So what does she have?
Yeah, exactly. And I also, there's so many great moments with the character. I mean, you can talk about the trials of the Darksaber with her and Kanan and Gar Saxon, that fight on the ice there. That's one of the most Star Warsy things ever. I loved her moment in season 6 when Jesus Christ, episode 6 of Ahsoka, where she was fighting off all those creatures with the lightsaber. That was dope. It was just like her time to shine with the lightsaber. It's the one time she actually wasn't coming off clunky, because she was just fighting things that she can handle. And I love that area, but also her confrontation with Thrawn in the 6th episode as well was boss. I mean, it was awesome. She was not scared of him at all, and I just always loved that. And she keeps she keeps a sense of humor in the face of danger as well, which is always just great about her. But my personal favorite Sabine moment is one from Rebels season 4. It's when Ezra is about to go through with his plan, and he gives Sabine a look, and Sabine knows exactly what he means. Like, he's gonna go do that space whale shit. She doesn't know the plan, but just from a look, she knows she has to go distract the rest of the rebellion so Ezra can, skate out of there in that finale. That's actually my very favorite Sabine moment. It impacts me every time I watch it. Actually, it's one of those moments. It doesn't make me bawl, but it brings a little tear to my eye every time I see it. And also another one just to shout out is her going back for Ahsoka at the very end of it, and at the end of the Ahsoka series. That was cool. She could have easily gone with Ezra, but she had a choice to make. And that's the nice thing about it, is we talk about that bad choice in season 4, but she redeems herself at the end of, the season. And then that's, she ends up making a good choice when she's placed back in the crossroads. She kind of thinks to herself, well, last time I abandoned Ahsoka, this time I'm going to stick with her, and Ezra will get home. So she ended up making the right choice at the very end of it, even though they ultimately lost. And then one of my favorite lines from Sabine is just Shadows in the Starlight, when she can just barely sense Anakin in the, distance. But I like that because she doesn't actually know who Anakin is, and so it's just like, that's what it is to her, just Shadows in the Starlight. But
you like that quote?
It's the name of the show, right? So obviously I love the quote. But this was actually your idea, though.
It was actually my idea.
Even though I love this quote, I just agreed to it because of how much I love just Shadows in the Starlight. Because again, I just thought it was a brilliant piece of. I do critique Dave's dialogue a lot, but that was one that was just spot on, perfect, stellar. And one of my absolute favorite line of Sabine's is that, and because Ahsoka sees that, and it's like, it's Anakin to her, she doesn't know Anakin, so that's what it feels like to her. And it's just like, oh man, it just felt like the last line of a great novel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know too, you kind of know in your mind just from that line that Anakin's there, you know.
What was the the concept art of the final scene of her and Ahsoka sitting on the cliff, or standing on the cliff?
I don't know if I've seen that.
It was how they announced season 2, because it was just that artwork.
Oh, okay.
And I'm pretty sure the Shadows and Starlight was like written on top of it.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah, that could be a false memory though.
I don't know if I've seen that. I'll have to check, because they have those concept art cards with the steelbook. I'll have to look into that and see.
It might be in there.
Yeah, I think they.
Like, I mean, it's
a bonus feature
like
where you could just
super concept, like just sketchy, like
yeah.
But I think it says Shadow, the quote.
Yeah, they might have. I think they have a bonus feature on the 4K too, where you can just go through and look at all the concept art. I'll have to look into that. See if I can find something like that at some point. But
someone may have added it, or it's a false memory. But
yeah, I don't know. I like anyway. Sabine's tenacity, her, she'll never give up. Not really. For at least, like, she does what she thinks is best. To. For everybody, I guess, and I like that she kind of goes her own way a little bit, but also, like, she's willing to learn, and also, she's a character that's just plagued by so much tragedy in her life too. I think Thrawn has taken so much from her, and so I think, like, by the end of the show, she's going to be the one to take out Thrawn, or the end of the I guess era of Thrawn, that she'll be the one to take him out. I think it'd be very poetic, he kind of took Ezra from her for however many years, and then later on, while it wasn't Thrawn specifically, she lost her family in the Great Purge, you know what I mean? So I think Thrawn to her just represents the last remnant of the Empire. And I think, like, with that exchange between the two of them, it's I foreshadow that she'll be the one to take them out eventually, but that's anyway. that's later on speculation. Maybe we'll actually do an Ahsoka discussion this year and get more into that. Anyway, so you want me to go next? I think I got it all, Sabine, if you're good.
Real quick, I'm gonna do a live correction.
Sure.
So instead of standing on the statue, it's a finger pointing. It says the story continues.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember seeing that. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So I don't know why that was a false memory.
I do remember seeing that, actually. So
okay. So there you go. Live correction on air.
Very cool.
One Google search.
All right. So I'll start out with one here. This is a very, very obvious one, but I'm gonna go Mando. Mando.
He is not on mine.
Yeah, Mando or Din Djarin or the Mandalorian, the one the show's named after, is
titular Mandalorian.
Sorry.
Titular Mandalorian.
Yeah, correct. Titular Mandalorian. And I'm going to tell you why this character's awesome right here. When he showed up in Boba Fett, we all went, thank God.
You know what? This isn't a hero praise for him. This is kind of a dirty praise.
Yeah.
Din Djarin did the worst thing ever to Boba Fett.
Yeah.
He took what made people love Boba Fett and took all those aspects and then left Boba Fett with that Boba Fett show.
Yeah.
Like, the mysterious stuff, take off the helmet. Like, everything everybody loved about Boba Fett, they just put onto him.
It's true.
And poor Boba Fett, people have loved for years, is just sitting in the corner going, so I'm like a mob boss, guys.
Yeah. It's true.
I trained with Tusken Raiders, guys.
It's true. But you know what the difference is? Is that Mando ends up on our hero list. Boba, I don't think ever would. Because Mando has the Grogu aspect of it. And so in that, therefore he becomes world's best babysitter, and then he has that going for it. And yeah, but you're right. He just kind of just started starring in Boba Fett's show, and but we were all pretty relieved when it happened, I think, because at least, like, the 2 episodes with him were fantastic.
Yeah, see, like, for instance, I don't consider him any more of a hero than I would Boba Fett.
But it's true, because he's the bounty hunter too, so you have that gray area. For sure. I just think because of the Grogu aspect, you know, I see him as pretty heroic, you know, because we all love Grogu, and he saves Grogu time and time again. So, you know, well, Grogu saved him time and time again too. Let's be honest, but yeah, it's
But nothing could save season 3.
nothing really could it? Except, you know what? There's a couple episodes in there that are pretty good. On my last watch, I would rank it above the Boba Fett series at least, but. Yeah.
What a compliment!
No, it's a lot better than Boba Fett, but it's not great. It's not good even when you put it overall. Oh, from the very first day we met this character, we met him the same day that we met Disney Plus. So for me, it was just like that memory always goes hand in hand, I think, and. I just remember the first day I got on Disney Plus, man, I was greeted to two things, Mandalorian and McClunky, because that was the day that they put the 4K version of New Hope on there, and that McClunky line was added to that. That's neither here nor there. But I remember watching that first episode of Mando and being like, this is good. This is really
the opposite of McClunky.
Exactly. This is really good. This is fresh. I remember the freshness I was feeling for Star Wars at the time. Because it did feel really fresh at the time, and
did it almost feel like A New Hope?
It did a little bit. It was
see double pun there, double pun. You see that?
Yeah, very good.
See what I did there?
Very good.
See what I did there? Okay.
It did. You know, I think I was more positive than most people at the time about Star Wars, but I also think like about the content we were getting. But I also think that I was also let's get something new, and that was new, but also felt like the original trilogy in a lot of ways as well, while being a new character that was disconnected from all that, while exploring a whole new era. He is our foyer into the New Republic era in canon anyway, and in live action, and he is the titular character, the first live action Star Wars television series. So I think that there's a lot about this character that we can compliment as well. The performance that Pedro Pascal brings to the character, I think, has worked very, very well. And we were talking about the moment last week with Valen Hess, where they were sitting down with Bill Burr and talking about just Pedro's performance and how freaking traumatized he looked, like having to take off that helmet. I always love that moment. And for as far as the Mandalorian himself goes, I just love that he ended up doing the right thing. You know, he helps this kid, and he was hesitant about it at first, but he went back and saved the kid. The third episode of Mandalorian ever is kind of what really defines that character for me, is when he goes back to save Grogu. So yeah, I love the character. Also, we got backdoor pilots for Boba Fett. That didn't work out, but we also got the backdoor pilot for Ahsoka in the Mandalorian show. Season 2 is one of my favorite things Disney's done with Star Wars as well. So yeah, what do you got on Mando there, Josh?
I mean, my first memory of Mando actually isn't the Disney Plus. I'm pretty sure you and I were in communication that day when they dropped the carbonized figure of him. Do you remember that?
I have it. Yeah.
You got one?
I have 2.
Did you get at launch?
Huh? No.
Did you get it at launch?
No.
I remember I went
found them
to
over
get
time.
Over time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I never got one. I think the only thing I have of Ben Jordan, I have the first statue they put out of him, or the boss, the Gentle Giant one.
Yeah.
I have that, but with the classic armor, not classic, with season 1 armor, where it's all like different pieces. I love that look.
Yeah, me too. I do too.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the Beskar armor that gets later on, obviously, but that was just a cool look.
Yeah, the first way we saw him was awesome. Yeah, I agree.
I remember trying to hunt down that figure that day, the last Force Friday we kind of had.
Yeah, it
was like a very soft
that was
Force
Triple
Friday.
Force Friday. No, that was Triple Force Friday, because we had Mando, we had Rise of Skywalker, and Fallen Order all coming out, so they called it Triple Force Friday.
Oh, I'm just calling it soft because it wasn't the midnight launch.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
It was just 6 a.m. These stores will have the stuff, maybe.
Yeah, it was soft compared to the event, I suppose.
Yeah, it wasn't an event. Like, it was just like, go get it, have fun.
Yeah. But I just have memories of I would play Fallen Order for a little while, and then a new Mando episode would drop. You know, we got 2 in that same week that I was playing Fallen Order, and that was always fun. I was getting 2 great Star Wars things at once, you know, and so that always felt cool. But yeah.
Coincidentally, that day I ended up finding a carbonized is it Seventh Sister? Is that who's in Fallen Order?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got her.
I think there's 7th and 9th. I'm trying to. Oh man, where'd she go? I have one, a first edition of the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the main one you fight.
Yeah. I had the first edition. I think it's 7th. I think that one's 7th.
Yeah, I think it is. That sounds right. Correct if you're wrong. Yeah. But the other talk about another character's toy.
Yeah.
No, I mean you get the first episode, opens up, and what's he do? He goes on a killing spree inside of a cantina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's not to love? Like I was like, that's dope.
Yeah, it was dope. And he was cold right from the beginning. Like he felt
he
like
was cold all the way up till season 2. It felt like.
Yeah, like he felt like a very classic Western character. And we were finally getting those Western vibes back. I felt like into Star Wars in a big way. And
how long did it take to get his name? I'm trying to remember.
Oh, till the Ahsoka episode. No, that's not true. It's the finale of season 1 because Gideon points it out.
That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he takes off the helmet, right?
Yes. That was the first time we saw Pedro on the screen. Yeah. So. There was that. I was thinking of Grogu as an Ahsoka. That's when we get Grogu's name in that first episode with Ahsoka. But yeah, it's the finale of the first season. Yeah. One of my favorite moments from season 1 is the end when he puts the what do you call that? I guess bomb, for lack of a better term, on Gideon's TIE fighter. I thought that was just a dope scene. Him hanging off the thing, and I also love. I mean, oh man. Boba Fett was not a great show, but that part where they're on Peli Mata's little horse and buggy there, and it blows up, and then he flies off and catches Grogu like a football was just that was stellar.
I remember that. Yeah.
That was stellar. That was a good one.
The Razor Crest, I miss it.
Mm-hmm.
That big hulking ship. I mean, don't I like the new one. Mm-hmm. That's fine. But that ship, I like the more rustic stuff. You
realize that blew up right around Christmas time, and so many parents probably bought that for their kids. And yep.
Like I wrote a book like, oh man, like it's just a cool. I like the worn look. Like
yeah. I like the Razor Crest too.
His new one's fine, but it was like giving an OP character an OP ship.
Yeah, for sure. I think yeah, man, it's like even though he had a bad season there. I'm still looking forward to seeing him in his own movie. I
mean, I'll be fair. Even though he had a bad season, he wasn't bad in the season.
No, it wasn't a Mando.
He was consistently his character.
Yeah, it wasn't a problem with the character at all. It was a lot of other things, a lot of other B plots and things they shoved in there for sure. And yeah, he was always very consistent in the show. The him and Mandalorian and Grogu relationship, I mean, it's very consistent throughout, and that always remains the same. He's great. Yeah, the character's great. I mean, I love even just like the reveal of like Beskar can, deflect the lightsaber. We found that out from this show. I feel like, from season 2 when he first confronts Ahsoka, that was surprising, but. Yeah,
and we gotta mention, because I can't believe I almost forgot to mention it, because I used to do the joke of it all the time. Yeah. His little Western sting that he has in his music.
Yeah,
his little theme that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got one of the coolest themes. That Ludwig Göransson score is stellar. Yeah, I love it. I love every bit of that score. And then. Sadly, Joseph Shirley was scoring season 3. I think that's part of what took away from it. Not that Joseph Shirley's bad by nature, but it just wasn't the same. Something was missing. Yeah. And yeah, man, I mean, what's not to love about The Mandalorian, though? He brings all the vibes I think that we were missing at the time.
He's literally what we wanted Boba Fett to, or what Boba Fett's been to us for ages.
Yeah, exactly. At least to a lot of people. I wasn't a Boba fan, actually, until that Mandalorian episode. But that episode was dope. I mean, that backdoor pilot for the Boba Fett show was great, and I thought that's what the show was going to be. and then yeah, things happened. But yeah, no, Mando. You got anything else on Mando?
I'm all Mandoed out.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. What's your next pick?
I am going to go with Han Solo.
Okay, we crossed over. That's
crossed over.
Our
Got
first
a little
crossover. Yeah. Go ahead.
It boils down to one phrase we use a lot about someone we know in our personal lives. We won't name names, but it perfectly sums up why I like Han Solo.
Mm-hmm.
He's unhappy to help.
Yes.
He doesn't want to do this.
Yes,
he doesn't care.
Yes.
But he'll do it. He'll help out. He'll help his friends, and that's why I like the character. He is so like, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he'll even ditch
but
you.
But he'll do it. Yeah. And I think that makes him a hero. He'll do it.
He'll even ditch you and make you think he's not going to do it. And then he goes, comes back and, yeah. Like at the end of New Hope, he did come back and help Luke, destroy the Death Star. So, yeah, no, I agree. And I also think going back to the Solo movie that we got, I think one of my favorite things about that is that it did kind of define that character. He's the character that thinks he's the bad guy, but he is the good guy. Kira telling him, you're the good guy. You know what I mean? And so I always enjoyed that connection there. I think, the first time you ever saw Han Solo it's the coolest, man. You just know that this guy's cool. He doesn't give a shit. He's at first anyway, and he is a little bit like I was saying about Sabine. Sabine's got a lot more heart than that character, but at least again the character evolves. But with Han, it's like he's going his own way. He's a little bit rogue, and
Han has heart buried under like 45 layers of just not caring.
Yeah.
Like almost constantly hungover. It seems like. Yeah.
And to be honest, though, Han Solo is the reason that when a Harrison Ford interview pops up in my YouTube feed, I watch it. I'm not going to miss one because I love Harrison Ford because of this character, because of what he brought to this character. And also, the fact, obviously, I think Harrison probably would have been destined to be a star in the universe where Star Wars never happened, but he might not have played anything as iconic, as Han, Han led to Indiana Jones, so on and so forth, so like it was just, it's a perfect marriage, Han Solo and Harrison Ford, and you needed that actor in there to make the character as iconic as he is. I always feel like Empire Strikes Back is Han's movie, you know what I mean? Like that's another thing,
Funny enough, it was not too long ago. It's just one of those bad days. Nothing overtly bad happened. It was just a crappy day.
Yeah.
And no, I remember it was a crappy day. Like my internet went down. And I'm like, all right, let's go to physical media. And I grabbed and I was like, I'll put on Empire. Why not? I put on Empire, and I was just so enthralled with this character that watch around. Like I was like, Hunch is great. Like I see what you're saying now when you talk about like, oh, that's his movie.
Oh yeah,
you are 100% correct.
Absolutely, I think it is. One of the things that really defines
him storming off Hoth, and then when he finds out, that's actually a prime example. He's storming out of Hoth. Him and Leia have that little spat.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "I'm out of here, sister. I'm done. It's over. It's
great scene."
And like, hey, no one's seen Luke, and he's like, "What do you mean no one's seen Luke?"
Yeah, he's upset.
Like drops everything.
Yeah.
And then boom, flies out.
Exactly. Even though he's got like bounty hunters after him and everything, he does need to go, but he doesn't. He goes and helps his friend instead. And he's just got some of the most iconic lines. Don't get cocky, a big one. Never tell me the odds. He's got some of he's a very quotable character as well. And he's just
sushi, cold fish. That's what she always called me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got that joke.
I think so. We'll
Blade Runner theatrical cut.
Right.
Where they made him do narration and he hated it so much he delivered it just awful on purpose.
Yeah, for sure. No, 100%. That's true. I knew it was a Harrison line. I just wasn't connected to the movie.
He's just like sushi.
Yeah, that's
cold fish.
Exactly.
It lives rent free in my head. I'm not gonna lie.
For sure. No, I love so many of Harrison's roles, but Yeah, Han Solo's the one, and you know, I think like the "don't get cocky" line does like define the character so well, because he's so uncertain, but he wants to appear certain to everybody else around him, like, because he says or maybe it's not the "don't get cocky" line, it's the part where he says she'll hold together. That's the line I'm thinking of, where he's like, she'll hold together, and then he quietly to himself, you hear me, baby, hold together. You know, like, he's uncertain, but he wants everybody else to think he's confident. Yeah.
I'm gonna do the Timothy Zahn, his sardonic smile.
Yeah.
His Timothy Zahn loves that word.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to Han.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, you know, his sardonic, like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, whenever he's like pitching something, like,
Yeah.
come on, we got this. Like,
Exactly.
and he has no idea what's going on.
Yeah. I also just love how much of the character's survival has depended on luck thus far. It's not his brains. It's so much luck that he has. He's just a very lucky guy. And it's like, you can almost call it the will of the force or something, because he has so many plans that could go wrong. It just like, it's always a gamble. You know what I mean? He's truly a gambler at heart. And like, everything he does is a gambler. The Kessel Run, as we saw it finally in person with the Solo film, it's like that,
which I'm not happy about, but
it's fine. I liked it, but it was like,
I like the mystery. I like the show don't tell, stuff like that.
I got you. I enjoyed the Kessel Run because it was so in line with, like, he got lucky. He probably shouldn't have survived that, but he got lucky once again. And I also enjoyed the the Empire Strikes Back, the little the hiding on the ship thing that they did, where they just float away with the trash. It's like, that was luck, you know. They should have been caught, but it's just it's like these clever things, or things that he thinks might be clever, but they always have a 50-50 shot. But he never wants to hear the odds, and that's what I like about him. You know what I mean?
Well, what's funny too is, like, all right, you think about it, the luck aspect of it.
Yeah.
He was just some scumbag dude that got into a shootout at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
This kid and old man walk up like, hey, I need a ride. And that ride would lead to becoming a war general, to him marrying a princess.
Yeah.
To, you know.
Exactly.
Fortune and fame.
He just,
and it was all just happenstance.
He finds himself all in the right places. Yeah, it's right place, right time kind of guy.
And he does show heart for Chewbacca.
He does. That's his one friend, and like, for some reason those two connected, and then I don't know. But it's almost like, I almost feel like maybe they did, because he probably felt Chewbacca was just, I mean, if you watch the Solo movie, it's kind of like, you know, you see that they're kind of stuck in the same spot. Like, they're both prisoners of war at that point when they first meet.
Yeah.
So, you know, they connect on that level, and Han's like, he's, you know, yeah, and also, but Chewie's loyal to him. That's the other part of it. It's like, so, Chewie's never shown any disloyalty, and also it's just, Han needs a co-pilot. You know, if he's ever, you know, he needed a co-pilot, and
muscle.
And muscle. That's true. It's very true. You needed a co-pilot and muscle. So Chewie was the perfect pick, and yeah, I love that relationship there. But also, I love, you know what, I did want to say something else about the "don't get cocky" line. What's funny about that is like, he is one of the cockiest men in the galaxy, but he's telling somebody else to not get cocky, and I always love that.
He can prove it though. Like, he shows the work. Like, it's like, yeah, you're cocky. I'm like, well, yeah, look at everything he's done and been through.
Exactly.
Like, the mention been dead 10 times over.
Exactly. Harrison, I think it really all did depend on that performance that Harrison Ford brought to the character. Like, it brought the character life, and without it, I don't think he'd be nearly as iconic as he is. And he's absolutely one of my favorite heroes, for sure. Like, there's no doubt about it. And he did shoot first. By the way, it might have been luck, but he shot first, and he did get Greedo. Another one of those happenstance things that ended up being lucky. I like that he's got, like, such a. There's a few different moments I can think of where it's like the situation's going badly for Han, but he always kind of keeps that, like, smug grin on his face, like one of the sardonic. Thank you. The sardonic smile on his face. Like the moment I'm thinking of, like, specifically, is when the Ewoks think that 3PO is a god, and then Han is like, he's very frustrated about it, but he's given, like you said, the sardonic grin, trying to get himself out of the situation. Like there's that happens all the time with him too, and I think that's another thing that really works for the character, like throughout its entirety. But we got to see him. We did get to eventually see a lot of Han Solo heart, when it came down to his son and trying to save his son and bring him back from the light side and all that ultimately led to his death. It's funny because it's kind of like the moment he showed a little bit of heart, it got him killed. You know what I mean? In a way, which is interesting to think about, I guess, when you think about the entire arc. Yeah, man, I just love, again, really funny anecdote just about Harrison Ford and Star Wars. Is one of the funniest stories I've heard in telling of interviews, and Mark Hamill's told the story multiple times about them sitting at the screening for Empire Strikes Back, and then the big twist comes up and Harrison turns to Mark Hamill's, "Hey kid, you didn't fucking tell me that." And just always makes me laugh when I hear that story. It's such a Harrison Ford thing.
Another anecdote for him is Mark Hamill told this on some late show where Mark was worried about his hair.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "My hair's different from this scene." And he's like, "If they're looking at your hair, then we got bigger problems."
Uh-huh. There was a yeah, exactly. There's a really great and it covers like all of Harrison Ford's roles. I can't remember the name of it, but it's on Disney Plus. It's a Harrison Ford like actual documentary about like all the roles he did, starting with Star Wars, leading to Indiana Jones. There's obviously, it was coming out in conjunction with Indy 5, so there's a big focus on Indy in it, but it's truly a great documentary. Like you should check it out if you haven't, for the audience too. Really, really great documentary on Disney Plus that they put out, and it covers a lot of Harrison Ford's career. You get to see some of how Harrison is behind the scenes a little bit on sets, and it's not always great. I'm gonna be honest with you, he's a cranky man. But they're very honest about it. Like
him and, what was it? Not Borat. What was the one he was in? Oh God. Talk about the Sacha Baron Cohen.
Bruno.
Yes, thank you.
That's a scene. Now that's a scene. It's like, "Fuck out of my face" or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, he or how about just not to make this a whole Harrison Ford thing, but the other one just reminded me of it was the David Blaine documentary. Have you seen that one where he goes he goes to celebrities' homes and he like shows them magic tricks and stuff, or he'll meet them at a bar. Like one of the ones you got to he does one with Ricky Gervais in that, which you got to see. It's really good. He does it with Ricky Gervais at like a restaurant. He does a trick. But anyway, so David Blaine goes to Harrison Ford's house and shows him a trick, and I can't remember exactly what the trick is, but it had something to do with like something in the kitchen at his house. Like he was making things disappear in the kitchen or something, and like his family is so blown away. Harrison Ford's family is so blown away, and Harrison Ford looks at him and is like, he smiles at him, he's like, "Get the fuck out of my house." Okay. Fantastic. Hilarious. Anyway, enough on Han. That's my thing with Han, but yeah, I'm sure plenty of people will have comments about Han that they might want to add. So that was yours. That was the one we crossed over on. So I'm gonna go Kino Loy.
Not on my list.
All right, so Kino Loy, played by the great Andy Serkis in Andor. He is one of my favorite characters in that Andor show, and really very heroic, and I loved the entire prison arc in Andor. I just thought it was it's one of the strengths of the show. Very THX 1138 inspired, Lucas's first film, for the audience members that don't know that. It's very inspired by that, and Kino Loy is really the heart of that whole thing. And what I love is it's not just the fact that he ends up being a hero by the end of it, it's that he has a very heroic arc by the end of it, because it goes from It goes from basically this guy who's very, he's playing by the rules. He just wants to do his time and get out of there. He doesn't want to save anybody. He doesn't want to be a hero. But along comes Cassian Andor to really change his mind. And I love the build up to it, because things just kind of keep happening. They're suspicious, and finally when he realizes that like nobody's getting out of the prison, it's one of the best episode endings ever in Star Wars history anyway, where, because Cassian keeps asking him throughout the episode, like, how many guards on each floor, because he wants to try to make an escape plan, and Kino won't tell him. And then I believe the answer ends up being, because at the end of that episode, when he's like, when the old man, I can't remember his name, dies, and Kino sees that nobody actually gets out of here, and then Andor asks him at the end of the episode, they're just walking. The way it's framed is brilliant, because they're not even making eye contact, and Andor from behind him just goes, how many guards on each floor? He just asks him that same question again, and then because he knows Kino will finally tell him, and then Kino goes, no more than 2, I believe is the answer. It's like, so yeah, it's his arc is amazing, and then it leads into that incredible Andy Serkis monologue, The One Way Out. It's mind blowing, and it's a performance that it's one of my favorite performances, I should say, in Star Wars, because yeah, Andy Serkis just nailed it. It was like such redemption for him too, after Snoke, not getting a lot of time with that character. To see Andy Serkis get a character that.
What if he is Snoke?
Well, that's a possibility. Well, remember, can't swim, stays at the Imperial prison, and who knows what they, DNA might have, been taken.
That'll never get old to me, as all the years of who's Snoke.
I know. No, but this one has more evidence than the others. I'm just saying, same actor. I'm not saying it is, but same actor got locked in the Imperial prison because he ends up not being able to swim. Which was tragic too. That's the other thing. It's a hero with a tragic ending, and I love that it was over the course of 4 episodes. Yeah.
Hear me out.
All right.
So how many guards did he have with the fight with Rey? 2. There's only 2 guards.
No, it was like 4 or 5 in that scene.
Shut up. It makes my theory work.
I don't remember the actual answer to the guards thing, by the way. I was just saying too, off the, who knows? Maybe we'll have to go back and listen to it, and whatever. Maybe mash it up. Who knows? Maybe you're onto something. Maybe you're onto something.
I'm not.
Okay. All right.
If I am, I'll quit the show.
All right. But what do you think of Kino Loy, Josh?
I'm gonna have an odd take. A little bit of a whoopsie doodle, a little bit of a goofball take.
Okay.
Because you kind of summed up pretty well, but I'm going to come at it a little bit different angle.
Yeah.
He is Star Wars's Red in Shawshank.
Oh, Shawshank. I was thinking Red Foreman. I was like, where are you going with this?
No.
Red and Shawshank I could see. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's, the sagacious person in prison that he's like, stick to your routine, you do this, you'll be fine. And then he gets told like Andy, like, oh, hope's nothing but nothing but a pipe dream,
Yeah.
And the whole speech. And he just kind of reminded me of Red when I was watching it, just like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Shawshank.
Yeah.
So originally, when we were talking our list, I said I have a character, but I don't have enough on him I could talk about. To justify putting on my list that that's who it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, he's a great character. His speech is wonderful.
Amazing. Yeah.
Andy Serkis' performance was great.
Yes.
Also, kind of another not happy to help, more broken to help.
Like
he got broke. His spirit got broke. He's like, all right, I guess I'll help.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. 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 Well, I think a lot like Han Solo, like his entire belief system just changed, based on, what he had to experience. And that's what ultimately led him. And you see this like very hard edge character go from hard edge to like when he has to give the speech, absolute fear, because he knows that this is it, and then like I'm crossing a line I never thought I'd cross. But it all happens so fast. But here we are, it's time, we're gonna do it. And then once he gets into it, it's like that little confidence booster from Andor, where he's like, "You do this every day, man. Like you should be the one to do it. You have to be the one to do it." And he saves an entire prison. And he's an awesome hero.
How long was if I remember, how long was Cassian in the Poke for?
It was quite a while. Like it was like
it was a few months, wasn't it?
I didn't think so, but like after the last time I watched it, I remember like they did the time span, and I was like, oh, it really was that long. Like it was like a long time. It was months. It was definitely months. Yeah.
Now, what was it? Was something stupid he got thrown for too. I don't remember what it was.
Nothing. He went for nothing. He was doing nothing. He was walking.
That's right. They
literally nothing. He got in trouble for literally nothing. He just was walking by where something else was going on, and they just decided to take him too because they needed men to help build the Death Star. He got taken in for nothing. The Empire knew that they needed men for the Death Star, and yeah. I mean, Andor committed crimes, but he didn't get arrested for the crimes that he committed. Like he got arrested on the basis of nothing.
I was trying to remember what they framed him for.
I don't think it was anything.
They said it was something. I thought it was some. Was it Death Sticks? They said he was peddling or something.
I don't think so. I think it was like trespassing. I think is what they called it.
Yeah, it was
I
something
think,
like
I think
that.
they called it trespassing. Yeah, but like when you watch the scene, he didn't do anything. He just
chilling.
There was like I think there was a brawl nearby or something, but he
was he gonna go get breakfast or something?
Yeah, he was just like normal day. You know, he was on a resort on vacation. He didn't get booked as his name, if you remember. Like he didn't get booked as Andor, so he wasn't going for the crimes that Andor actually committed. You know, like so he was, you know, he didn't go for the murder that he committed. He was going as somebody else completely, and so quite something. But anyway, Kino Loy, are you good on that one?
Yeah, I am good on him.
All right, cool. Your next one.
So this is kind of the good guy's side, the rebel side's Tarkin, and it goes into Andor here. So I'll do it next. Is Mon Mothma.
Oh, I didn't think that was going to be the one you dropped, but okay. Yes, Mon Mothma, and go ahead. You got this.
Yeah. So it's very much one of those like, okay, if you think about like how much she's in the OG movies, she's not in it that long. I'm going to assume more than Tarkin. I'm going to assume 6. I'm going to give her 6 minutes.
I don't think she's in. I think she's in less than Tarkin, to be honest with you. Yeah, she has one scene. Tarkin gets a couple.
But even more to her credit, like Tarkin, she's iconic.
Yeah. No,
you hear the name, you go, I know who that character is.
It's true. She is very, very iconic. It's true. Like it is one scene's worth, and she's been iconic since. Obviously, much like Tarkin, the other things have expanded on the character now, and you know, I think we get a little excited every time we see new material with her. The one benefit that she kind of had over the years that Tarkin didn't really get, even though Tarkin's in one scene of Revenge of the Sith, she had a lot of deleted scenes in the bonus features on Revenge of the Sith. I think more people took to the character because of that. But she actually didn't show up in the actual theatrical cut of Revenge of the Sith. But it was Genevieve O'Reilly cast at that point for the deleted scenes. Luckily, Genevieve got her due because now she's voiced her in Rebels and she's played her, and she's been Mon Mothma in everything since Rebels. So luckily she's been able to come back and do it. And my God, what a great character in Andor. I mean,
and then you see how much she gave up to fight for what she believes in.
Yeah.
Like, you see her home life and it's falling apart because of this.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, like, we haven't really seen all that she's given up, but even just from season 1 to the original trilogy, we can really draw those conclusions because when we see her later on and in all the literary stuff and everything, she's not with her family anymore. And all the literary things. We don't hear about her family. She's got a whole new haircut by the time the original trilogy comes around and Rogue One and all that. And so you could really just assume she really gave up everything to be a part of it.
And like, you see what her life was and how comfy she could have been.
It's true.
She just sat back and did nothing.
It's true. I loved everything with her in Andor. I mean, just every scene that she was in was compelling. I was surprised. I think what's really amazing about it is, like, when they cast Genevieve O'Reilly for the character in Revenge of the Sith, again, didn't make it into the film, but when they cast her for that, it was like a small part. And then seeing her play it in Andor and like how great of an actress she really is crazy cool. Like, she really delivered on that, and that relationship she has with Luthen, and you know, all that, and the undercover stuff is so intriguing. I mean, that was like one of my favorite things about like the aftermath novels was Mon Mothma and the in between chapters and things, like seeing the politics and all that, and we got to see like that in live action in Andor, and that was just such a blessing. But again, all the work that she had in Rebels as well, just was awesome, and yeah, we just know, and having that extra history just truly helps, you know, and even seeing in the Aftermath trilogy and in Ahsoka a little bit how she's kind of moved on beyond, you know, the rebellion. And what I like about Ahsoka, I didn't love the choice at first, but I like that she's got her old hairdo back in Ahsoka, so you could tell that she's a lot happier now, you know, that everything's kind of passed a little bit. Boy, the shit's about to hit the fan though. But she finally got to get back a little bit to that cushy lifestyle that she used to live, which I really enjoyed, that she got a little bit back from everything. So yeah, man, really good stuff. Anything else on Mon? This was your pick, so
not really. I mean, it's kind of like Tarkin, like it's just that iconic character, and when you see what her home life,
it's true.
I'm going to recur to what I just said, but
yeah,
I mean, and if you get rid of her in the universe, how much changed, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's such the main backbone kind of the rebellion. Just started off.
Yeah, it's true. She is one of our big connections to the rebellion. You know, and we know that eventually, and excuse me, Andor, I would imagine that her and Bail Organa are gonna, you know, cross paths as well, you know, finally in the show, and we'll see them really start to form the rebellion. I'm assuming Jimmy Smits has to come in as Bail to make that work, but I'm hoping so. But
1 second here, I got a dog crying at my door.
You're good. I'll keep talking about Mon for a sec. I got a little bit more, but yeah, like I said, but even like as to Josh's point, like if you take out all the extra content that we've had and development of Mon Mothma that we've had, you take it all out of there, that one scene, so many of the fans just know that character. Like the most hardcore fans know the name Mon Mothma, and it really, really works because of that one scene in Return of the Jedi. She comes off very confident, and I think that you always just kind of felt like, and I don't know, but this is my assumption, like I feel like we always kind of felt like there was more to this character. We wanted to know more about this character. We got more about the character, and it delivered. You know what I mean? Like every aspect of the Mon Mothma story has not really disappointed thus far, you know? So, yeah, it's so beneficial when you think of it from that perspective. And, you know, it's just one of those, again, performances that it's one of the best in Star Wars, much like I was saying about Andy Serkis as Kino Loy and Andor. Like the stuff with Mon Mothma really ended up delivering and in stride. And so I'm so happy that we ended up getting that, and you know that we still get to have more of it with a whole new season of Andor coming out in April. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And with that season coming, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, we really get to see it. We really get to see her lose everything that she has. This cushy lifestyle, as Josh was saying. Her husband, her daughter. Like, I don't think that they're going to be around each other for very much longer. Josh is back, so I'll go ahead and... yeah, sorry about that. No problem. Anyway, so those are my thoughts on Mon, guys. Would you have, Josh? Anything else? Or are we good?
No, not really. I'm kind of bankrupt on her.
Fair.
But I still feel like she needed to be shouted out.
Absolutely, it was a good call.
You don't really see her on that many lists, and I'm like, oh, that's a big character.
It was a good call. All right, so I'll go with my next one. This is going to be my more controversial pick, probably to you, but it's just the way I view them. I view the character. So I'm going with Eli Vanto. So for me, I kind of talked to you a little bit about this last week.
Thrawn's boy.
Thrawn's boy.
Ooh.
So the reason that I'm going with Eli as a hero is because I think a lot of it is the way that the book frames him. You're really rooting for Eli to succeed throughout that book, and when you read it, and he is kind of being, you know, the one that's everything that he's trying to do. I'm gonna put my screen on me here really quick while Josh does whatever he does. But yeah, but you really are rooting for this character. You're hoping that he's the one that you're hoping nobody kind of stops throughout the story. But also he's got this like a little bit of, he's like the student to the game, but he's also a little bit naive to the game and at the same time. Like he doesn't know as much about the Empire and their intention. You kind of get the sense while reading the book that he was kind of pressured into this by his parents. Like he was kind of pressured into going to the Imperial Academy by his folks. And yeah, you're good.
I was grabbing a visual aid for something.
Oh, okay. So
for one of the choices.
Fair enough. So yeah, you kind of got the sense with Eli that he was kind of pressured into the Empire by his folks. He didn't really want to be there, but he ends up meeting Thrawn kind of by happenstance in a lot of ways, and a lot of the stuff just, that ended up going down weren't really his decision. Thrawn kind of coerces him into doing a lot of the things that he does. I also think that the reason I consider him to be more of a hero than a villain is because I don't think Thrawn looks at him as a villain. I think Thrawn looks at him as, this is a good guy. He's one of the good guys. I'm going to get him out of here. And by the end of the book, he does, he ends up kind of sending Eli off to a special mission to kind of watch over his people, and so I always looked at that as even Thrawn not framing Eli as being cut out to be one of the bad guys. I think he used them for the moments that he could, but it's the one little bit of heart that Thrawn has. It's for Eli. It's interesting.
With Thrawn, on your Thrawn doesn't view him as a villain.
Yeah, I don't think
Thrawn,
so.
I know Thrawn doesn't view himself as a villain. Thrawn's just,
it's a good point,
necessary for his people.
It's a good point, but he also doesn't view him on the side. I guess my point is I don't think Thrawn,
he doesn't view him as an Imperial.
Yes, so and because we frame the Empire as villainous in our minds, the fact that somebody from the Empire doesn't even really view Eli as villainous is why I categorize him as a hero. And to me, yeah, that's just the way I frame him, man. I think that he is that little bit of heart that Thrawn has for anybody. It's to Eli. It's kind of a why I don't know situation, but we feel it for whatever reason. He did gravitate toward Eli. Ended up using him quite a bit, but still gravitated toward him and did show a little bit of heart. Like the whole book, I think that's one of the things I loved about this character in particular, is because the whole book, because we frame Thrawn as a villain, maybe Thrawn doesn't view himself as a villain, but we frame him that way as audience members. The entire first novel, you're like, how's Thrawn going to screw this guy? How is this guy going to get screwed? And he really doesn't. Like, Thrawn gives him a nice little gig. He does get used, but it's not in the sense that's harmful. It doesn't feel harmful by the end. It feels very different, and I that's why I love the Eli character so much. And he showed Thrawn a lot of loyalty throughout, and I think that's part of it. But he also he showed not only loyalty to Thrawn, but transparency to Thrawn. Like throughout the entire novel, I like how honest the character is and upfront, with Thrawn. And I think that's why Thrawn was able to guide him to certain, up the ranks a little bit, but also, move him to a place that was just more suited for the character. It's really interesting. But yeah, what do you think about Eli, Josh?
Honestly, I'm going to be a little lame here. I don't really have much thoughts. Like you kind of nailed it.
Yeah.
We get limited time with him, but I remember when the Thrawn book came out, and you and I were both reading it around the same time, and we were like, yeah, this kid is not making
it. Yeah. Yeah,
he's like, he is going to get killed. Thrawn's going to do something horrible. But no, Thrawn was fairly loyal to him, which it's more credit towards Thrawn than as Eli. But yeah, Eli was an interesting character. I kind of hope he pops up in something somewhere. Yeah. Or at least a name drop so we know what happened.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the most important chapters is when Thrawn meets Eli's parents. Because, I think that's the reason that Thrawn doesn't end up, using him or screwing him over in a worse way anyway. Because by, you know, when he meets his parents, he kind of analyzes in his head to me that this kid's here, he's hesitant to be here in the first place. You know, he didn't want to be here. This wasn't his choice. His parents coerced him into joining the Imperial Academy. This wasn't something that he would have just done, you know, willy-nilly, you know. That's how I always felt, and I thought that chapter was so important for that reason. But anyway, Josh, sorry, go ahead. I felt like I stepped on your point.
No. Like, honestly, that was a really good point.
Yeah.
It's actually funny because I was curious, like, what he looks like. I just Googled him in the comics.
Yeah,
it's exactly what I imagined.
Yeah. No, they did a good job.
Yeah, that's exactly what I imagined him looking like. Yeah, no, I don't really have much on Eli. But honestly, you kind of threw me for a loop with that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but no. Anyway, just a fun character to read, I would say.
But I don't disagree with your pick. I just was not expecting that.
I got you. I would just say just very well written and very fun to read.
No, 100%.
Like, he's very fun to read throughout the book, and I think that's one of the main things here. Zahn wrote the character very well.
I never dreaded his parts.
Yeah, like as I was reading the character, I was like, I could feel like outside of Thrawn that Eli's one of favorites for Zahn to write for. Like I really felt that way reading it. So anyway, I'm good on Eli then. What's your next one?
Let's see here. That's a good follow up on. Yeah, I'll throw this one up. I'll do it now. Our boy, our little guy, Neil.
Yeah, I'm excited I get to talk about him.
He's at one of the great heroes yet. He's a hero in the making.
Yeah.
He's a little guy. He loves his bubble baths.
Yeah.
He has his little adventures. He's got a pure heart. He's adorable.
Yeah.
Throw that out there. He's an adorable elephant man.
Mm-hmm.
Not that elephant man. His as I always call it, the Star Trek episode he got.
Yeah.
Where he's on the war planet and he's like, "Hey, you guys just thought about not killing one another?"
Yeah. Oh.
Loyal to his friends. I don't think there's ever a moment in the show where I'm like, Neil, what are you doing? You're dropping the ball here. You know who did drop the ball?
Who?
Sabine. You know who won't drop the ball?
Neil. Very true.
And that's why your favorite Star Wars character is wrong, and it should be Neil.
I love Neil. I think Neil is one of my. He's awesome, and take the adorable out of it because there's that element, obviously, and we've probably milked that for so long now. Take that out of it. I do look at him as very heroic. He saved Hana, in my opinion, after watching that episode. Like, I think Hana had the opportunity to even go down a darker path. But I think Neil, because of that connection and her realizing that kindness is a key to greatness in a way, like I think that because of that she was saved a little bit. So I do look at Neil as heroic. He helps the hungry on that planet. I mean, he just gives up his food, you know, without even hesitating. You know, he asks these people if they're hungry. I choke up thinking about that moment, Josh. God damn it. But he just asks these two poor people on the ground if they're hungry, and he just gives up his food without even thinking. And you know what? He parallels that early Anakin Skywalker a little bit in the sense that Anakin, you know, is like his mom Shmi says he gives with no thought of reward. And that's what Neil does. Neil gives with no thought of reward.
Neil wants one thing.
Yeah.
Bubble bath.
He wants his bubble bath. That's the only reward he needs. You know, he was willing to give up part of his home for Hana with nothing in return. He just said, you know, come stay with us. You know, So I think that there was, but he's very.
Could you imagine his parents would be like, "Why you brought back a child of war?"
You know, I like to think Neil's parents are just as generous as he is. You know,
he had to get us somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, what are they gonna do? Just sit there and watch the holiday special the rest of their lives? They need some company, you know.
I would. What's wrong with that, Dom? Maybe that's what made them good people.
Not my lifestyle choice, but you know, to each their own. But
you never just sat down with a nice bubbly bath and watched some holiday special?
Neil didn't watch the holiday special. He just
really
unwind. He was in the bath while the holiday special was playing.
You know they had the holotape in there. Those kids were watching it. He was watching it.
No, Neil stares at his roof window and waits for Wim to come by every day. I love Neil. I need that figure. That's my.
Yeah, I went looking for it today. No luck.
Damn it! I just got to order the damn thing. That's what's coming down to. Need that figure in my life. Neil is awesome, and anybody who disagrees, whatever, each your own. But come on.
I'm going to Google Neil sucks to see if there's anyone out there like who has like a strong stance.
Come on, let's not do that. Oh no.
All right, so I go. No, hold on. Let me do this.
I want to be shielded from the darkness of the world, Josh.
Hold on. Let me look. Let me say this.
All right.
Okay. So I Googled.
Neil
It is
sucks.
exactly what I typed in. Star Wars Neil sucks.
How'd you spell it? SUX?
No, CK.
Oh, we haven't even hit the half of it then. Yeah.
I'll do the other one too, just
Okay.
for experiments reasons. First result it's a Reddit post, and it says, "If you don't like Neil, I will fight you."
There we go. See?
But now I'll
it's
do what
got
you
an
suggested.
SUX, and now we're gonna really get the darkest places of the internet. But come on, guys. Neil's blue.
No, dude, no one's attacking Neil. Everyone likes Neil.
All right, perfect.
I'm sure the SWAT guy right now is going to be the contrarian, like, yo.
Yeah.
Good on Neil.
All right, perfect. So everybody likes Neil. It's confirmed. That's why you like Neil, because everybody likes Neil.
Everyone loves Neil.
Everyone loves Neil.
Sorry, Ray Romano.
Spin-off series. I'm Neil.
No, he plays adult Neil.
I'm
Barbara. I was one of Barbara.
Yeah, I'm in the bubble bath. Where's my towel?
His brother comes in. Neil.
Everybody loves Neil.
Sure, Neil, you get everything. You got the adventure, I got this.
The bubble baths, the missing color in the Neil rainbow.
Welcome to 230-year-olds coming out that they really like Everybody Loves Raymond.
I know. Yeah, I bet nobody got that reference. Anyway.
Dude, everybody got that reference. Come on.
I don't know a lot of people that watch Everybody Loves Raymond, Josh. It's you're my only friend that likes it, so I'm sad about that. But anyway, so yeah, Neil, he's blue. What else can you say?
He's blew me away.
Blue elephant with overalls. Who likes his
blew me away.
Blew you away.
And I think that's a perfect note to stamp the Neil case.
I agree.
Dom, who you got next?
Way too long. Hunter. Yes. Hunter is extremely heroic. He is the Joel of
hold on, don't get too far to the Hunter. I will say she's not on my list, but Omega almost made it to my list just for her.
It was close for me too.
Just because of the accent. Yeah. Nothing else. Just the accent.
I love the character, but yeah, she was close.
With that accent, I don't care.
No, the accent needs to be there. Don't get me wrong.
Going about Hunter.
Don't get me wrong. It's a deal breaker, but yeah. Anyway,
something's wrong with Steak.
I had to put Hunter on there because, like I said, he's the Joel of Star Wars in a way for last
Star Wars fans. Rambo.
Yeah, Star Wars Rambo, even better. He does have a Rambo aesthetic, but also much like Mando, he's one of the world's best babysitters. He takes care of Omega. He's the leader of the Bad Batch in my eyes. I loved all the Batch, but he's my favorite one. I just love the look. I'll be honest, like you said, the Rambo thing. But I also loved. I think what really sold me on Hunter was that finale. Him having to say goodbye to the young lady that he saved was heartbreaking, but it was just such a great final season for the Bad Batch. Yeah, I mean, it really is just that relationship with him and Omega that makes Hunter one of my favorite heroes. So, his tenacity, his willingness to never give up on her, really love Hunter. Josh, you've seen parts of Bad Batch.
I've seen the first like 2 seasons.
Oh, okay. What do you think of Hunter?
He is not on my list, so I'll throw that out first. He's not my favorite Bad Batch.
Yeah.
But I would happily own his figure.
Oh, yeah, very cool.
But here's the problem why I won't buy his figure. Because then you got to commit to like 7 other figures.
Yeah, it's true.
And I don't got room for that.
Me either. I've been thinking about that too because I want the entire batch. I really would love to have.
It'd be cool. Batch. You know, like how sometimes they do like the long boxes filled with characters. They just did a long box filled with the baddest of batches.
They should.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I would buy that.
They did it with the Funkos. It's not the Black Series.
Yeah, I'd get that.
My favorite Bad Batch though is
Wrecker.
Wrecker. Yeah. I don't know why I drew a blank. I almost said Crusher. Wrecker, I really like him. He's funny.
He's a lot of people's favorites. I'm more a Crosshair and Hunter guy myself.
Yeah.
But
Hunter's he's a cool character. I like his aesthetic. Like he's 80s soldier man. Like he's Rambo.
You know,
like
he's anti who didn't make my list sadly, but he's anti Rex a little bit. You know, he's
That's weird because Rex didn't make it on my list either. So that's kind of sad.
Honorable mention for you folks there.
That's kind of wild. Neil mentioned my list without Rex.
Yeah, I know. What's sad about that is I have a Rex. I don't have a Hunter like figure. That's
because you know what? You don't need to commit to 400 other clone troopers.
Exactly.
You buy one Rex, you got them all.
Yeah.
No, someone right now is yelling like, "Hey, put Eli, but not Rex."
You know what I might try to do, because I do have a little bit of room for this, like just just thinking about it now, is I might do the batch. I might do the little Kenner ones though. I'm not going to do the Black Series 6-inch.
I think there's a box with the Kenners. I'm not going to lie.
All right, I'll take a look at that because I might be able to fit those. Yeah, I'm going to have to. That's just. I do have a nice little print of Hunter and Omega though that I got at a convention, so. At least there's that.
There's some representation.
Yeah, that is on display at least. So, but yeah, Hunter. I mean, come on, Rambo vibes, and I love Rambo, as you guys can see. I have a Rambo figure sitting right here. So, yeah. So,
all right, you don't get to see that. It's like really dark.
Oh, nobody can see that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's super dark.
Yeah, Rambo figure sitting here. This is my Hunter figure. There you go.
I mean, it's basically
yeah. Yeah,
like if you pop that head off that figure and put it on a Hunter body, it would just be the same figure.
Yeah.
It would be the live action version.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
There you go.
Works out.
Hunter cosplaying as Rambo. Retro. Hunter.
All right, Josh, what do you got next?
Let's see. That's a good follow-up to Hunter.
Red and gray armor. I'm done with Hunter now. Sorry, I just wanted to throw it.
His armor is cool. And the skull.
Yeah, the skull's awesome. Yeah.
That skull.
Yeah. He's a weapon of mass destruction, guys. Come on. He's a defective clone. It's dope. Sorry, I'm done with Hunter now, I promise.
I'm gonna pick this one, and you're going, Jesus Christ, he's just perfect. Let's see here. Yeah, you know what? Let's go with Kanan.
All right, I was hoping you had him because I did not.
Yeah. There you go.
Scratch him.
I have a physical piece of paper here because it's fun.
Sounds like you're playing lottery every time you do that.
Well, it's a gamble, right? I could name a character and you go, what?
Yeah.
What?
True. A couple times last week I did that, but
yeah. Well, hey, I still stand by it. Come at me with Eli, and you're like, hey, you. Come on, dude. Kanan. Okay, first, so I'm gonna throw on the obvious Freddie Prinze Jr. aspect.
Oh yeah.
Bravo.
Mm-hmm.
Very much, and I almost spoiled this pick when you're talking about, you get that moment between him and Ezra and Sabine. Well, Hera and Kanan have that moment when he sacrifices himself.
Yes.
And you see his eyes, he's been blind forever. Well, not forever, but he's been blind for a hot minute. And you see them kind of uncloud for that second when that last con. Perfect, beautiful, beautiful storytelling.
Yeah,
beautiful visual. The choice to sacrifice himself. That whole episode of him sneaking in to get to her and the little bickering match they get into right afterwards.
Yeah.
But not like a bad bickering match, but it's a little fun. Him picking up Ezra, training him, and then the moment was him and Sabine.
Yeah. Oh, you know, I mean, when I saw Scooby-Doo.
Oh, hold on, you know, because I gotta name this. Because we've been talking aesthetics, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he gets that helmet when he's blind and he has that mask, the half mask. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Where's the Black Series of that?
No, incredible. I agree.
Where's the Black Series?
I agree with it. Yeah.
He has a half the show.
Yeah.
Where is that? The statues have it. Why doesn't that?
Yeah. Well, you know, when I first saw Scooby-Doo, as I was going to say, you know, I saw Freddie Prinze Jr. in there, and I was like, he's perfect for Freddie, but we'll never see that role again, or we'll never see the actor again. But
we got his cookbook in the house.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
The man knows how to make a good grilled cheese. I'll tell you that right now.
But he does. Anyway, I'm joking. But But no, seriously, Kanan is forever the role I'm going to associate Freddie Prinze Jr. with, because he's so good as Kanan and iconic as Kanan. And yeah, I also agree.
He even looks like Kanan.
He does look like Kanan. He could play him in live action seamlessly, but Freddie's got some qualms about that, so we're not going to get into that. But I think he could easily, seamlessly come into a live action adaptation if they ever wanted to do a flashback in Ahsoka. It'd be perfect. But also, I enjoy the extra stuff we've gotten. It'd be Bad Batch. You know, the very first episode, we got a little bit of the Apprentice version of Caleb Doom, so to speak, which I always love that name, too. I love that that's his real name. Yeah, but hey, what were you going to say?
No, I just New Dawn. I forgot to mention, you know, where we see him in New Dawn is this angry drunk working as a miner.
He's a drunkard. Yeah.
Have you read it?
Not all the way through, but I've read it.
Same. I'm in the same boat. But the opening chapter that he is the one that pitched the protocol warning for Jedi to leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was
a nice little detail. Yeah, perfect detail. One of my favorite Kanan lines is that was a mistake, and then when the Inquisitor throws Ezra off the ledge, and Kanan goes, "That was a mistake," and then the Inquisitor says, "Why? Because you have nothing left to lose," and he's like, "No, because I have nothing left to fear," or something like that. It was just brilliant. Love that line. That was a great moment, and I mean.
His saber's sick.
His saber's awesome. Kanan and the Bendu. I mean, there's so much great lore there that we get to explore. I always enjoyed that relationship a lot. And then he pisses Bendu off. So there's that. But you know that whole relationship was great, and him learning how to be a Jedi. I like the obstacles that the character has to go through because of his, you know, becoming blind and having to learn how to. He had to relearn almost how to become a Jedi in a way, or be the same
while training someone.
Yeah. I always enjoyed the first or second episode where something about what do you say? He's like, I'm about to let everybody in on a secret, and then he comes out with that first lightsaber wielding moments. So that's always great stuff. The look, you know, I liked both looks, with the ponytail, without. I thought they both really worked. I like that he did really to tie into Sabine a little bit, he's really the reason, like, so he cuts his hair with the knife or whatever, right? The ponytail with the knife. And they, in the Ahsoka series, they gave Natasha like that same exact knife to use, from what I was reading. So I always thought that was neat. So that's one of those really cool parallel things. But the fact that he wanted to present himself as a Jedi Knight to Hera when he saw her again as you know, her heroic savior. He didn't want to appear as, you know, the Kanan Jarrus of old, you know, when they went to go save her. And then, like you said, one of the most heroic deaths, you know, that we've had. You know, that sacrifice was heartbreaking and tragic.
And felt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I know he dies near the end of Rebels, but the other episodes without him was like, oh man, it feels like there's an absence here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
Like the show just drops heavy.
Yeah, I always like about that episode that like with the credits roll, the score is different. It's this very somber score instead of the usual happy-go-lucky rebel score, which I always thought that was just a great choice for that episode. And I think it fades to white if I'm not mistaken too.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so always thought that was so cool. Such an interesting artistic choice for the episode. Anything else on Kanan?
No, I mean, I think we kind of nailed it.
I got one more thing. I mean, him coming back as the wolf to Ezra was sick. That was sick. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I also like that as the Hu Yang connection that Ezra ended up getting his lightsaber build because Hu Yang had saved it.
Oh, he's like, because Master, because he's like, oh, he likes a center blade.
Yeah. I always thought that was a really poetic, nice moment in the Ahsoka series, bringing Kanan forward. And well, really quick too, with Carson Teva in the Ahsoka series, when he's like, when Jason feels the Force and he can sense that Ahsoka's out there in the water, and then Carson's like, what just happened there? And I like that Carson's the eyes of the audience when it has to be explained that Kanan was Jason's dad. It's like, for the people that didn't watch Rebels, here's the exposition, and I love Carson's little. Okay. Like, I always thought that was a great little Kanan thing there. So just yep. So yeah, I'm good on Kanan. You good on Kanan?
Yeah, I'm good on Kanan.
Perfect. So my next one is Leia Organa. Princess Leia. Obvious choice, but one of the most iconic characters in all Star Wars, obviously, is Princess Leia. Everybody knows Princess Leia. Even people that haven't seen Star Wars know Princess Leia. That's how iconic the character is. You can say the same thing about Han Solo, I guess, but I'd say Princess Leia more so. I swear there are people that dress as Princess Leia that have never seen a single Star Wars in their life. Like
The Simpsons does it best.
Yeah.
Is Marge comes out dressed as Leia and she goes, "Look, kids, I'm a Star Wars."
You know, I think I've seen that. Yeah, I think I've seen that. I'm not an avid Simpsons watcher as yourself, but I do believe I've seen that. You're right, and there's like so many different like Princess Leia references throughout. Oh God, was it Friends or How I Met Your Mother? Where the big male fantasy, it was Friends, where the big male they might have done it in How I Met Your Mother too. Where the
How I Met Your Mother, there's a lot of Star Wars stuff.
There's a lot in Friends and How I Met Your Mother, but the one in Friends that I remembered is when it's Ross's fantasy to have Rachel dress up as Leia from Return of the Jedi. I like that scene in particular. Like that's like a sexual fantasy of his. Like that's always been kind of part of pop culture too, is that Return of the Jedi look and you know the sexual parallel of that, I guess. That's always been a thing that's been brought into the zeitgeist. But also we were kind of talking about Leia with the Return of the Jedi stuff a little bit ago as well, when we were talking about the Hutt Slayer stuff, how cool that was, and how the planet reveres her for. And you were talking about another book, I believe, where the planet revered her as
Dark Force Rising.
Yeah, where they revere her for, you know, Vader being, you know, her dad or whatever. So, but also like she's so connected to Vader in the sense that Vader was her father as well as Luke's, and you didn't know that until Return of the Jedi, which was really interesting. It's really interesting to think about a time period when you didn't know that. Like you just had New Hope and Empire, and you figured out Luke was Darth Vader's son with a little bit of hesitancy on knowing that that's the truth or not, but you know, believing it for the most part. But then also going into Return of the Jedi, you know, figuring out that Leia is also looped into it was a really interesting thing. I must say one of the best parts of the Obi-Wan series was the Leia aspect of it. I enjoyed the
look at Leia, sassy Leia.
I enjoyed the actress playing her, Vivian Lyra Blair. Did such justice to Carrie Fisher, you know, who made the role iconic. And yeah, I like that Leia was never, you know, I like that Leia was always a little bit, she was a little arrogant in the beginning, you know, and but
aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper?
Yeah, exactly. But I also enjoyed that the character throughout everything has been very consistent throughout every piece of material, good or bad. Is the character itself has been very consistent throughout it all. The Leia comic is great that they put out back in like 2015. That was a great little run, that little solo run for Princess Leia, her going back and seeing Padme Amidala on like a mural type thing and realizing that was her mother, that was a great little moment, and adding more to the, her kind of remembering her mother a bit when Luke asks her about that. It kind of got all tied in. And I love the Leia Princess of Alderaan book. I love the Bloodline book. Bloodline's one of my favorite novels in the new Star Wars canon. Definitely would be Bloodline by Claudia Gray. Claudia Gray's wrote both of those, by the way. And yeah, we just had great content with Leia. Like, that's one thing they haven't disappointed on, I don't think, is all the Leia content that we've had. But yeah, what do you think of Leia, Josh?
Actually, my Leia stance here is actually going to be a question to you.
Okay.
What is your favorite? What's your favorite look for Leia?
Look, it's actually Endor Leia.
Endor Leia.
Yeah.
Same. Okay, that's a good pick. Mine is actually Hoth Leia.
Yeah, it's a toss up. Interestingly enough, you like the Return of the Jedi movie better, and I like Empire better. You know what I mean? That's interesting that we flip flop on the appearance part of it. But yeah, if I could get a figure of, I don't yet. If I can just get a figure of Leia with the Endor outfit appearance, that's
where I'm like, I want the Hoth one.
Yeah. I I already had the Hoth one though, so to be fair, but yeah, I would love to have the Endor.
But to me, it's kind of the Mortal Kombat fan of me, because Scorpion, right? He's yellow.
Yeah,
he's the yellow character, so all his outfits are yellow based. To me, because Leia in New Hope is the white outfit, so then the evolved version of the white outfit in the sequel would be the Hoth outfit.
Yeah,
where it's now a jacket and it's more tactical. I just think that's a cool.
I get you.
But I do like the Endor one. One is good.
To clarify, though, I'm talking pre-wedding dress that obviously belonged to a woman that the Ewoks killed.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, the battle gear.
Yeah, the battle gear for Endor is what
I really want. I want the original figure of that, actually, really bad.
Me too. Yeah. So I loved. I love that look, and I love all the Endor stuff with Leia too, just in general, as far as like scene work. I mean, her relationship with the Ewoks, and then also moving into the Luke arc, where Luke tells her the truth, and yeah, I don't know, I thought that was like really a good moment for Leia to shine, and I think that might be why the appearance of it really sticks with me, is because of all the Endor stuff and the impact she made on Endor, and all that kind of stuff. I also just enjoy. My personal opinion is that Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen didn't have the best of chemistry in those prequel movies, but Natalie Portman was like,
I respectfully disagree.
I know, but I know you can, but what I do love is that the Natalie Portman pick, I think her and Carrie Fisher share a certain resemblance. So I definitely, as far as buying her and Carrie Fisher's mother and daughter, like, I really enjoyed that. And I was happy to see her when she popped up in the sequels as well. Definitely. That's actually my second favorite Leia look, is the one in Last Jedi. I love that gray poncho thing. I always thought that was a dope look for her. That'd be my second, and probably Hoth I put third. And then fourth is like the iconic New Hope, with the the headphones. As they
I do have a figure of that.
I do too. Yeah, I got one of those. So yeah, I always enjoyed that. So yeah, there's so many great things with Leia, and Han. That relationship with Han is the big one, obviously. Yeah. I enjoyed, it's one of the best elements of the sequels too, is the Ben Solo, her and Han having a son, that turned to the dark side. It's great. It's a great element of the sequels. It's the one thing that really, really carried those movies forward. And her appearance at the end of Rogue One was awesome. I mean, getting that little, hope line from her at the end of Rogue One leading into New Hope. She's the first hero we see, really. I mean, of the main three. is Leia in A New Hope. So that's a really interesting thing. Her exchanges with Tarkin, Darth Vader, all that stuff really works. Yeah, man, what's not to love about Leia? She's so grown to be one of my favorite characters. And also, by the way, everything in Heir to the Empire and all that too. I mean, really works. So, and really quick, last thing I'll say on Leia, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. But the moment that she sends 3PO in Ahsoka, so that Leia can have a spiritual presence in that series, I thought was just super touching and super nice. I really enjoyed the moment she sent in 3PO. 3PO was like, I got a message from Leia Organa. I was like, oh, that's beautiful. I love it. So yeah, everything about Leia I love. Anything else on Leia?
No, I am good on her.
All right, go on with your next one then.
I'm gonna go with Space Aladdin himself.
Ezra Bridger, huh?
Yes, sir. Right. I will say this list is a little unfair because like 90% of it is just rebels, but that shows you how good of characters they were.
They have a lot of good rebels, yeah.
Real quick, what's your count? Because I know you crossed over a couple of times.
Okay, so you mean how many do I have left?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see here really quick. I have 1, 2, 3. I just have 3 left.
I got 3 left too. Cool. Okay. That worked out perfect.
All right, awesome. So, who'd you mention just now though? Ezra?
Ezra. Yeah,
okay, so we're still good then. We're still good.
Okay.
All right, so I have 3 left.
Yeah. So I remember because the bio happened, Clone Wars is over, we're all mad.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes a new cartoon.
Yeah.
And I remember like, oh God, this. Remember the ads and all? It looked horrible. It looked like a.
I do remember the ads. Yeah.
It was like, this is gonna suck. And then I remember my brother was like, oh no, it's actually good. You should give it a watch.
I kind of wrote the show off. You got to remember, like, I didn't start till season 3. So yeah. I wrote the show off for the first couple seasons because of the ads. And then season 3, when they did it at a Star Wars Celebration, they showed the trailer for that. And I just remember the little Rogue One crossovers they were doing with Saw Gerrera and all that. And I was like, well, I better tune into this. It seems like it might be important later. But yeah, anyway, go ahead. But you guys are hyping it up too. So, yeah. There was that. But yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, because I remember I was watching it, and what a great opening episode for a new character.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, I mean, I know I jokingly called his face Aladdin, but he is. That's what he is. But it works so well because it's such a different angle for that type of character. For a Jedi character.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll get into the obvious. You talked about in the beginning with Sabine, the sacrifice. The choices he made to save his friends.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Final Fantasy games is 15 because of Noctis' choice to sacrifice himself, and those are around the same time, so kind of.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
He hangs out with crab people. Come on. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You want to hang out with crab people? I know you do. You texted me the other day, like saying I could run into some crab people, and I said, why not?
I would like to hang out with crab people.
Right?
Yeah, I'll hang out with Sabine and the crab people any day. But yeah, I'll say this though, because I want to touch on that first episode too, though, about Ezra. Is what I remember about watching that first episode is that at the time, what did we really have? We had the Clone Wars originals, prequels, and Rebels, and 1 sequel movie, Force Awakens.
Yeah,
like we had 1. By the time I started watching, I know Rebels came first, but when I started watching it, we had Force Awakens, and that was what started to rekindle my love with Star Wars in general. Get me back in touch with it after my personal disappointment with the prequels at the time. So I was like, Force Awakens was what really got me back in. It reminded me so much of the original trilogy at the time. At least in the sense that it was just like a simple, fun, campy adventure. And we had a new Jedi and Rey and all that, right? So I'm like, I was really, really craving like more Jedi. And I didn't realize that like Rebels can give me that, like a new Jedi to follow in training. And that, you're right, is the thing that hooked me and excited me, is that Ezra, we were getting another Jedi now that was going to be in training, right? And so I that's what made me gravitate toward it so much. Was the fact that we were able to really see that again, and a journey. Like I knew that it was going to be a journey. Like the first episode tells you, this is going to be an arc. It's going to be a journey. We're going to watch this boy get trained. You know, it's gonna be a whole thing. Like, you just know it. The vibe is there. So that is what hooked me as well. Yeah.
And I remember one of the things also to me was his lightsaber being a blaster.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we even kind of fan picked 2 episodes ago. Like, oh man, could you imagine if Wim met Ezra?
Mm-hmm.
Ezra's everything he would want.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And they're kind of similar, you know, the rebellious young kid.
Yeah, they both look like Aladdin. I mean, so, yeah. I know, but no, you're right though, man. It was just awesome, and I like the way that the show did that from the very beginning too, where it was like, because it was almost like one of those things in my mind was like, it won't be possible to really follow another Jedi in training in this time period, but because of the way they do it with, you know, he's being trained by another Jedi that's on the run from Inquisitors and things, you know what I mean? So it was the way they made it work, and it was the brilliance of that just made me love the show. And Ezra, you know, so Ezra is our way in, you know, he's the one that we relate to.
He had all the potential to be that annoying kid character that no one likes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Another thing though, it's going to kind of call back to the Kanan conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like when they cut his hair. I don't like buzz cut Ezra.
I don't either. Thank you for saying that.
He looks unfit. He doesn't look finished.
Yeah, he's
like the design.
He looks a little sickly when he gets his hair cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. Like, I was like, okay, I was like, I hated the buzz cut, and then I remember he comes out with that green lightsaber in that epic moment. I was like, but that's cool. At least they gave him like a new lightsaber color and all that. Like,
but that also annoys me because I always wondered, like, where did that lightsaber come from?
I always wondered that too, but he had to get a new one. So
I know he had to, but still, it's like, well, where did that come from?
It's kind of like where did Luke's come from though? At the same time,
like, I can tell you,
we know now, but at the time he didn't. Like, between Empire and Return, like if you just had that, you didn't know where Luke's lightsaber came from.
Oh, I knew.
At the time, I'm saying if you were in 1983 watching Return of the Jedi,
I was.
You were not.
I was negative 10 years old, and I was there.
Okay. you were a little squirt in the movie theater.
Don't get me started on that lightsaber.
You were a little squirt of liquid. That's what you were at the time. Anyway, yeah, no. What else on Ezra?
I love how all this team died right there. It's like got real quiet. Let's see. Buzz cut sucked. Cool lightsaber. Don't know where his lightsaber came from.
Yeah, Aman's Fondy's interpretation of
his little dance on the dark side.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that. That was
the mall stuff. Yeah, that was great.
It's something I'm Boo earns about.
Mm-hmm.
The new hidden Jedi power. I don't like that. It's like it expands.
Yeah.
I do like his little animal connection. He has little nature connections. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Oh, dude, he went to the World Between Worlds.
Yeah, that was dope. Yeah,
he brought back Ahsoka.
That's true. He revived Ahsoka. Yeah, so she can live another season. That's right. No, you're right.
Another season, and they get a spinoff show.
Right. Well, it was that's what I meant by the other season. Like, that was her spinoff show, and that we can get that great relationship with her and Sabine and all of that. So I'm so happy about that. But also, if we're talking about Ezra, I mean, like I said, the Aman's Fondi interpretation in the Ahsoka series was spot on. Some people complained about this, but in the Ahsoka show, for some reason, even though it's consistent, I like that the character is funny. Sorry,
Ezra's a goofball.
He's a dark. He's supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's like like, I like that the character's funny. That's one of the best aspects of him. It makes him relatable, and I mean, even more relatable to kids that are watching and things of that nature. Like, I like that about the character. He's a great new Jedi to follow for kids that were starting Rebels, and adults, I guess, too, because we ended up loving him just as much, but if not more so. We take Star Wars more seriously than 10-year-olds, let's be honest. But man, I truly loved every. It's just because it is another Jedi arc that makes the character work. You know, it's another arc that's similar to a Luke Skywalker arc, and and it really worked, but it also so different than Luke's arc in a lot of ways. Like there's a lot more. The fact that he's always kind of longing for that sense of he wants his parents, you know what I mean, and then he has to overcome that by the end, I think is really cool. You know what I mean? He gets that choice to, you know, get to them.
What if he's Snoke?
So my next one, no, did you have any more on Ezra?
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's something, but I think we're good. I think it's all been.
You sure? Okay. All right.
I think. I mean, is it? Did we go? We covered this relationship with Sabine. With Sabine.
Not really, but yeah, that's another thing. Mm-hmm. No, I love his relationship with Sabine. It's great. I as the kids say, I ship those two. But, yeah. Anyway, that's such a somber yeah.
It is what it is. If it happens, it happens.
It happens. Yeah. Hopefully
Star Wars is will they, won't they?
It's very late for us kids. Anyway,
it is. It's like 1 a.m.
Yeah. Anyway, in our time, yes.
1 a.m. and we haven't even done the heavy hitters.
Well, we got
that was
two
my
left
pick,
piece,
so it's
right?
your pick.
Oh, I got 3 left, don't I?
I got 3 left too.
Okay, so
heavy. All heavy.
I'll go with this one since Lando. You have Lando?
No.
Oh, okay. So Lando.
This is where we diverge. Oh wow.
Yeah. So Lando.
This is where the boys become men. Because I don't like Lando.
You don't like Lando?
I don't like Lando.
He's Donald Glover.
I like Donald Glover. I don't like Lando.
Oh, okay. I love Lando. He's a space pimp in a way. No, space hustler. He's just very cool. Space gangster. How about that? I always liked that about him from the very beginning. He didn't need to know a lot. It was all in the Billy D. Williams performance. And I thought Donald Glover as well captured that just as much. I think we've talked about it. Like Alden did a pretty good job of what he had for Han, but like Donald Glover became like Lando. Like he embodied it, and he helped me love the character a little bit more too. But always from the original trilogy alone, I always liked the way he spoke. I like that it was, again, like I heard an interview with Billy D where they asked him why do people love Lando so much? Like, why is there such a fan base for the character? And Billy D said it. It was like, it was Billy D. Williams played Lando. And it's like, that's it right there. And that really is it. That's all you need to know. The swagger, the fact that the Falcon was once his, always enjoyed that. The fact that you know what I like a little bit? It's like, he's our first sort of in between villain and hero, really, when you start to look at it, because he does sell them out, but he does it with trepidation, and he also does it with a little bit of like, take Skywalker, not Solo, you know what I mean? He doesn't want Han to get harmed and put in the carbonite. He does, but he didn't want it. He had hesitancy. So he falls somewhere in the middle and then becomes a rebellion hero by the end. Partly very responsible for blowing up the second Death Star, which was always awesome to see with that little guy that laughs in his co-pilot's chair all the time. I can't remember that character's name. Nien Nub. Nien Nub is in his co-pilot seat. Always enjoyed those scenes as well. And yeah, the characters just got so much swagger to them. Anytime Billy D or Donald Glover pops up as the character, I love it. And all the appearances in Rebels, great. So, yeah. I'm Lando Calrissian. He's got that cadence, man. Do you have anything on Lando, Josh?
I liked when Ezra pretended to be him.
Yeah, me too.
That was cool.
Yeah, I know.
I have nothing. I just don't. I never liked the character. The performances are great of the character, though. I just don't like the character. Okay. It's like when you read Heir of the Empire, and it's like his mining company.
Yeah.
That part just bored me. I was like, oh god.
I liked it. It was consistent with the stuff he was talking about in Empire Strikes Back.
It is. It's not a slide on Timothy Zahn. Just like, God,
I love
that's all
Lando.
the character.
Love Lando.
You know what? Also, it's because I'm a collector.
Okay.
And every time I go to any place to pick up Star Wars toys, it's the same 5:
Yeah.
Lando, Acolyte, and it's the other one I keep. And then the generic Mando figure and generic Darth Vader figure.
Yeah. All right.
And I hate them all.
All right.
Because it's so soul crushing. And I know you know what I'm talking about because we talked about this.
No, I know. I get it. No, I get that.
You're excited to buy yourself a Starman, and you go out and you just see you see a Harangue figure, and you see Billy D. staring at
There's no shortage of Lando out there, that's for sure. Like, no. That's for damn sure.
They're going to end up in a landfill.
Yeah, they made way too many Lando toys, and yeah, I agree with you. But I still love the character and his purpose and all that. I thought it worked out.
Do you own a Lando?
I do. I own 2.
Okay, that's what I say.
3. I had 3.
So no. You are the problem. That's why they keep keep buying them. Quit buying them.
Well, they're all different. Different variations.
I hope.
Yeah. Actually, 2 are almost exactly the same. And then I got 2 Billy D's and 1 Donald. So.
Don't we all? God, it's like,
all the men have 2 Billy D's and 1 Donald, if you know what I mean. That's
yeah. Why are people watching this show?
That was
Go have a family.
That was a joke about the male anatomy. Anyway,
thank you, though.
Yeah, you're welcome. For the audio listeners. We have fun. All right, go ahead.
That's how you're. Go ahead. That's what you're gonna call it next. Well, what's your next one?
What's your next one?
Ahead.
Next.
How rude. How
next.
rude. How rude. I know you're not a fan of this character, so I'll just go ahead and throw him out there.
Go ahead.
Ahsoka Tano.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, I love Ahsoka.
I'm gonna ask you, and I know you don't like her. Is she on your list?
She's not. It was a hard list, man.
Yeah.
Neither is a bunch of other ones I love. I don't have Rex.
Dude,
I don't have Rey. I don't have Yoda. I don't have Mace Windu. I don't have a lot of characters on there.
Yeah, you didn't put Rey because you wanted to survive the internet.
No, she's just not in the 10. Ahsoka won't
you put Lando. You put Lando.
Yeah, I love Lando.
Not Ahsoka?
I know, it was hard.
Doesn't seem too hard. You did it with ease.
It wasn't easy. Ahsoka was in a couple drafts of this, believe me.
Trust me, no one's ever truly
I was working on this all week.
Well, I guess I should list why I like Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first off, she's a warrior.
Yeah.
She's an outcast.
Yeah.
She's a rebel.
Yeah.
She's a Jedi. She's all those things.
Uh-huh. That was in the marketing, yes, I recall.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. Marketing, that's what I was referring to. Yeah. So there's a very interesting thing that happened with her, and I'm pretty sure you can attest to this too, if you remember right.
Yeah.
So when Ahsoka first came in the Clone Wars movie, everyone said, "Who is this character? God, I hate her."
Yeah.
When Snip showed up, everyone said, "God, I hate her." I liked her. Like, she seems cool, and she calls.
I walked out of the movie.
She calls Baby Jabba the Hutt stinky, and I think that's funny.
And I walked out of the theater.
I'm a child.
Yeah.
And I was not a child when that came up.
Mm-hmm.
But she went around to being one of the most revered characters.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And that's not even a character arc. That's just like the character and the culture just rising.
Yeah. No,
like
it's a total zeitgeist
shift.
They
made you want to see her.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a zeitgeist shift too. That's part of it, yeah. I think. But yeah, Clone Wars movie is the one Star Wars movie I've ever walked out of in my life in a movie theater. And it was a lot.
That's so weird.
I know, it was a lot due to the character. I didn't enjoy the character, and I walked out of it midway through. Now I own a nice Blu-ray edition that's not easy to get, but
it's really not.
But the times are changing. So
Little Bob Dylan.
Little Bob Dylan there.
She, when she first showed up, she was a complete unknown.
She was a complete unknown.
I do own her first figure that came out with the Clone Wars.
Awesome.
Little baby Java.
Awesome.
One of my favorite little figures I got there.
Cool.
How do you feel about the nickname Snips?
I like it. That didn't bother me in the Clone Wars movie, to be honest with you.
It didn't bother me either.
Yeah.
That was fine.
Yeah, I always liked that. I always thought that was
because she's got a snippy attitude.
Yeah, that was adorable. I like that.
You know why they call? You know why in Snarf, when Thundercats is Snarf, they call Snarf Snarf? Bro Snarfs.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
No, I agree. I always enjoyed the Snips and Sky Guy, thing there. Yeah. That was always great. I just love how much the characters evolved over time, though. She did have quite the arc, and age.
She became a Ronin.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so dope.
I mean, the moment, spending so much time with the character, and then we get finally the moment of seeing her in live action in Mando season 2 was everything. Seeing that Rosario Dawson interpretation of the character, as an adult, was very, very neat. I enjoyed everything about that interpretation. The Ahsoka series is now one of my favorite live action Star Wars things that Disney's done anyway, and it falls in line so much with the prequels for me. Like, it's a nice little continuation, a perfect sequel to the original trilogy, if you will. And I just thought they did a great job there. I mean, it was kind of one of those things, like when the character starts, for me anyway, it's like, what is Dave getting at with this character? And then we see the full trajectory of it, and it's quite something. I mean, I talked about it last week with the villains stuff, but the fight with Maul toward the end of season 7 was quite something. And it showed how far the character had come. Her relationships with other characters, Rex, Bo-Katan, I thought always were strong points of the Clone Wars seasons, and also obviously the big one, her relationship with Anakin, and how that changed over time, going from Anakin being the one that trained her to Anakin being Darth Vader, and then also Anakin having the duel with Ahsoka was insanely cool, so yeah, really enjoyed that. Anything else on this character?
Her fight with God, it's like, who does she fight? And the Mandalorian.
Oh, the Magistrate. That was dope.
Yeah,
that was dope.
Yeah. That whole, her in the woods. Oh my God, Morai. We gotta talk about Morai.
Oh yeah, Morai. Yep. Oh, yeah. The entire Mortis arc. Speaking of Morai, is quite something. That I always associate with the character as well. The Mortis arc is fantastic. I love that she's got this owl that just follows her around though, like after all that, and it's just such a staple of the character now. It's like, if you're looking for something,
adds to like the Ronin aesthetic too.
It does. But if you're looking for Ahsoka, you're looking for Morai just as much. If you know. And so when I think about the Magistrate fight, though, speaking of Ronin, what I love about that scene so much, that entire sequence, is you got one side of the wall with Mando and Michael Biehn, and it's a Western on one side of that wall, the other side of the wall is a samurai movie, and it's everything that defines what Star Wars is. It's Western meets samurai. So I really enjoy that. Everything in Ahsoka. I mean, the Ahsoka, the series, is like the most lightsaber heavy live action thing we've ever had, I can argue. And there's so much great stuff in there. Yeah. And there's so much great stuff in that. The choreography. Let alone, forget. The first fight, the Magistrate's great, but the second one too, in Ahsoka, the end, the speed in that choreography, man, was fantastic. That was awesome, and I liked how she took the Magistrate out at the end. I thought that was great, even though she went single. Both times she fought Magistrate, she went with one lightsaber. She ended up coming down to one lightsaber, not two. And you know, another thing that we got to reference is the Ahsoka novel by E.K. Johnston. That was great. The whole arc of getting her sabers and then joining the rebellion, you know, that was great stuff. A lot of great stuff in Tales of the Jedi with Ahsoka as well. We got some really great Ahsoka stories, including her origin, like straight from birth, you know.
I got the baby Ahsoka figure.
Do you really?
Yeah, I got one. Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I love that thing.
That's cool. I love that.
I think you know. Actually, I have an Ahsoka for every stage of her life.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yep.
I have a few, but the one that definitely.
Oh my god! When she showed up in Rebels, we gotta talk about that.
Yeah, with Fulcrum.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm like, oh my god.
You figure out.
Oh yeah, because you. That's right. Yeah, because you came in later, so it wasn't a surprise.
No, it was. I didn't know about Ahsoka. I didn't know about Ahsoka and Rebels.
Okay.
That was still, that never got spoiled for me. So no. Fulcrum still worked. Yeah, I know it is crazy, but Fulcrum still worked for me, very much. I told you the first introduction I had to the show, like really was that season 3 trailer. Like that was the first big thing that got me in. She wasn't in season 3, so I never saw that appearance, and you guys, I don't think ever spoke about it. So, for whatever reason around me anyway, maybe you just wanted to keep the secrets, you know, but thank you for that. But you know, at the same time, Fulcrum was still a surprise for me when Ahsoka came in as Fulcrum. I was like, well, there we are, you know. So that's pretty neat. That was always a big twist, not twist, but reveal more so, I would say. Twist a little bit too. Yeah, great moment, very well executed. The moment where Kanan and Ezra are like fighting the Inquisitors and they're about to get bested, and then Ahsoka just comes in and f's everything up in a good way, like you know, comes and saves them and takes them out. That was dope when the doors open and here comes Ahsoka. That was sick. It gave so much to the character, you know, and yeah, Rebels, you can argue, really gave a lot to that character. I mean, the Clone Wars stuff was great, but the Rebels like really, really gave a lot of development for the character, and informed, I think, what the legacy of that character would be in a lot of ways. And then adding season 7 on top of it of Clone Wars, when we finally got around to that, was just everything.
And her dealing with Anakin and Ahsoka. There we go. God, I don't know. I was like blinking on the show name. Yeah, that whole sequence and her going through the different eras.
Yeah.
Seeing the live action her during the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, her talking to Grogu too. Grogu.
She's the one that gave us Grogu's name, as we mentioned earlier. Yeah. That's true.
Her interacting with Anakin, that was really, or Anakin Luke.
Yeah, that was a neat moment. Yeah, I agree. She has so many good ones. Yeah, you got anything else on Ahsoka?
I am all soaked out.
All right, cool. Yeah, let us know. I'm sure people have more that they can comment on the character.
Honestly, there's so much more we could probably talk about Ahsoka. We probably
it's true. The characters just got so much to it. It's true. We are kind of running out of steam, and we got 2 big ones coming up, at least on my list. So, all right. So I'm gonna go with my next one. Down to interpretation, I suppose. But Anakin Skywalker. I think if we're framing him
weird.
The Clone Wars aspect of it, he's the hero of the show up until, you know, the very end.
I don't know about that.
He's very heroic throughout.
Pretty heroic when he murders some children.
I mean, I'm talking about Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, Anakin Skywalker from the flashbacks of Ahsoka.
I don't know, man. These are things you can't turn back on.
But hero turned villain.
Hey, I'm staying away from this. I ain't touching this one.
All right. No, I think Anakin is one of the most interesting because he is hero turned villain, you know, and that's what makes him an interesting hero in general. You know, even going back to the very beginnings, you know, him really the very heroic move to put himself into the pod race to make sure that Qui-Gon got the parts, you know. that he needed, and even though the race was very dangerous and there was a very slim chance of him winning due to how things had gone in the past, the pod racing was great. I have so many memories of playing the pod racing games, always picking Anakin Skywalker. Yes, exactly, when playing the game. So that's always awesome. But yeah, Anakin in general, so many great moments that I can think of. While not a heroic move per se, the fight with Dooku in Revenge of the Sith always sticks out to me. But not only that, Dooku in the Clone Wars movie too was a great lightsaber duel as well. Speaking of that, and Anakin did so much. I mean, I think the big one that stands out to me is him saving Ahsoka at the end of season 5 of Clone Wars, when she was getting accused of murder. We kind of touched on this with Lesage last week a little bit, but Anakin going out of his way to do that, against what people may have called better advice, was always pretty heroic to me for Ahsoka. I always enjoyed that, he like you see, we could reference the Clone Wars movie here because he saw a little bit of himself in Ahsoka, enough to like continue to train her, even though there was hesitancy on his part at first. He didn't want to apprentice at all, but Yoda saw the better or saw that he should have one. Oh, I love, by the way, this is one of my favorite Anakin moments that doesn't get brought up a whole lot, but should be. Definitely one of his highlights is the fact that he helps Yoda sneak out of the hospital when Yoda's having the visions, and Yoda's like, I need to see, what these are, whatever. That was a terrible Yoda impression, but like when Anakin,
it was really good. I liked it.
Thank you, I appreciate you. But
Frank Oz, look out.
Yeah, but I always loved that. I thought it was like a really adorable little heroic moment for Anakin to help Yoda sneak out, and like a little rebellious, but at the same time, like it did inform a lot about what was to come for the Republic. So I always enjoyed that. Yeah, man, what do you think of Anakin? What do you got on Anakin?
Anakin, well, I'm first off going to go with the obvious here.
Yeah.
The Clone Wars armor is so fire.
Yes, it is. That's a great look. I still need to
I have the hot I have the hot toy.
Yeah, I know.
That was one of the first hot toys I ever bought.
It's pretty sick.
Because I love that armor so much.
Pretty sick.
Being able to see Hayden wear it in live action was wonderful. So aesthetically awesome. Man, what an inspiration! What a hero in my eyes.
Yeah.
From Attack of the Clones, when he is on that day, and he's talking about how he doesn't like sand. What about when he, when he sees? What we're talking about when he first sees Padme, and he goes, "Are you an angel?" Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Glad you enjoy it.
Their chemistry is wonderful. So let's see here. So what I got here is Anakin. That's really good. My favorite Anakin episode. Or Anakin episode. The Anakin Show, starring.
Okay.
No, I'm laughing because like how I said it sounds like the Andy Griffith Show.
It did.
And I'm now just imagining like that intro.
Yeah.
But Anakin.
Yeah.
But it's like instead of like Andy Griffith walking little Ronnie Howard, it's adult Anakin walking kid Anakin.
Oh.
Bygones.
Somebody make it. Fan art. Somebody make it.
Yeah, someone make it. Dom will pay.
Vader's shadow behind little Anakin. Black and white. Yeah.
Anakin, starring Anakin and little Annie.
I'd want Hayden Christensen to also be the narrator for that intro.
No, my favorite
Skywalker
episode
show starring Anakin Skywalker. Sorry. Sorry, Master.
Sorry, Master.
Hey, here's a good Anakin little. This is where the fun begins, right? We all love that. Even though Han said it first, let's be honest, everybody associates it with Hayden in the beginning of Revenge of the Sith for repeating that line. I always love that opening of Revenge of the Sith. I think it's great. The relationship with him and Obi-Wan is fantastic.
So, my favorite episode of Clone Wars starring Anakin. One of my favorite Anakin moments is when he's talking to them Force boys, and like, yo, this is what you're going to do in the future, and how traumatized he is for what he'll become.
Oh yeah.
Like you hear the 66 and I know we're in the hero arc, we're talking about the hero stuff, but we got to talk about how wonderful that march is up. Him with the cloak and lightsaber, walking with the clone troopers, the presence of that, wonderful. But that's not heroic because he murders children.
It's not, but we're talking about the character in general, so it's fine. Yeah. Before he ceased to be Anakin and became Vader, which I guess he was Vader in that moment, but whatever, we'll let it pass because
you know what's driving me nuts? I don't know if you've seen this. So they're doing toys of that version of Anakin, right?
Yeah.
And they're calling it First Appearance Vader, and it drives me nuts. Drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Because I get what they're doing, but as a comic person, I'm like, well, First Appearance would be a New Hope. But okay.
Yeah.
This little gripe. With me on my soapbox there.
Another really good Anakin line, really quick, is I'll go even original trilogy Anakin when he becomes Anakin again, is tell your sister you were right. You know, I always love that. That was one of my favorites. Sorry, you had something else there you were getting into.
You know, from the moment Anakin left Tatooine for the first time, he kind of didn't really have a direction right away.
No.
And he loses his home, and ultimately he's kind of like a rolling stone. And to the Jedi, a complete unknown.
Anakin's Bob Dylan. He's the Bob Dylan of Star Wars. Gotcha. No.
Sorry, Master.
You've made those.
I don't really like said it's Roscoe is everywhere.
Anyway, really quick, another one on Anakin here that I'll bring up for you is I just completely lost it. It was in my head. Oh, no, because you were talking about him leaving home, and I always thought, if there's one thing in the prequels that outside of the Revenge of the Sith stuff that's a little bit emotional, is definitely him having to leave his mother and all that.
Yeah,
that's always touching. But it's also the great thing about Anakin is the fact that, like, we've talked about it many times, how mind blowing it is that the first time we saw Anakin as a kid, it was like, that's going to be Darth Vader one day. That's you always kind of have that backing the character, and it helps boost it. Obviously, the fact that we know he's going to be Vader, and so having that backing for it always works. But you brought up the Mortis thing. I always loved that. I like that he got to see his mother again in the Mortis stuff too, in a way, because he had that little vision. That was interesting. That's always great stuff. But all right, I'm good on Anakin. How about you?
I'm good on Anakin.
All right, what's next, buddy?
Okay, I'm gonna pick this one because the obvious conclusion I think that we're going to, which will be great, is one of my goats, one of my favorites, and that is Hera Syndulla.
Yes, I knew you were gonna have her somewhere on the list, and but
so last week when I said I already put down my first name, that was it.
Yeah.
Hera is one of the characters that I like for the fact that she just stepped up and did it.
Yeah.
Like she's not a senator. She's just a normal person. It's like, I'm going to join this fight.
Yeah.
And then it's cool because you can track her through the fight from like minute one all the way up into the sequel movies. But I mean, the beginning of the rebellion to the sequel movies. I mean, she was around during the prequels.
Yeah.
The ghost ship's amazing.
Yeah. I do
I
love
like
the
that
ghost.
she has no superpower. Like, she's not a force user. She's just a really good pilot, really determined, good leader, good general. Let's see, what else can you say about on top of being a mom? Like, she's a mom to this.
Yeah.
She has Chopper, one of the coolest robots ever.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I really should have saved my big hitters for the end of the show.
Well, no, I mean she's the rebel mother, so she keeps the rebels together in the Ghost Crew anyway. She keeps the Ghost Crew together. You know what I mean? And she's
she's kind of the heart of Rebels.
She really is. She's the heartbeat anyway, and like she keeps the you know, she's a big part of the construction of the Yavin 4 base, you know, so that's all. I always like that connection with Hera as well.
Her relationship with Kanan.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Vanessa Marshall, who voices Hera, and she's the coolest. She's the coolest. I just want to throw that out there as well. It's like she's so awesome. For those of you who don't know, like, she's just as much of a fan of this stuff as we are. Like, she's awesome to just geek out with about Star Wars. But yeah, that's one thing I'll throw out there. I always like the voice work she provided to Hera as well. Like, it's got that motherly strength, you know, to the voice. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead, perfect to take on that role in the Ahsoka series. Like, perfect. They couldn't have nailed that any better. I love what she brought to it as well, you know. So anyway, I'm
actually shocked it happened.
It is one of those weird things that's like
she did it.
It was almost too perfect, you know. It was
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, because she's kind of a bigger name, so it's like you're going to be in makeup and have tentacles glued to your head.
It's true. Yeah, it's a good point. Like, it is one of those picks that you're like a little surprised about, but
I mean, she's kind of a side character in Ahsoka. Like, she doesn't really do all that much.
I almost wonder if it would have happened without the Ewan McGregor connection, you know, too, because Ewan loves being in Star Wars, you know. He shows up to like all these conventions for it, and he loves it, you know. I think he's found a newfound love for it, and I think he probably had a lot to do with talking her into taking the role, you know. When they approached her, he was probably like, do it, you know. So I almost wonder if it would have happened without that, you know. Which is why my next hero is Ewan McGregor. That's my last and final. No, I'm just kidding. But no,
you're crazy.
I'm kidding. But anyway, Hera. We've already talked about the Kanan connection there too, which is a huge part of it. And man, I always loved the moment when that final shout for Kanan, when Kanan's about to sacrifice himself, was always heartbreaking. Because of the voice work that Vanessa Marshall provided to that. Like, it was always just, so good. But also being the one that talks Kanan into coming around. She talks a lot of people into coming around on things. Like, she talks Kanan into coming around on Sabine. She talks Ahsoka into coming around on Sabine, you know. She loves Sabine, that's for sure. Sabine's like her daughter, her spiritual daughter.
And she's also like generally, she rallies her troops. She gets them to do what needs to be done if they can't do it.
Like Filoni was definitely channeling a little bit of like, I need a female presence as strong as Leia in my show, and aside from Leia herself in a couple episodes, we're gonna have Hera Syndulla. You know, this is my Leia. You know, like I always loved that. Yeah, and she's got a great relationship with Mom Mothma. Let's not forget that. I always loved that. That, like, I loved how that it was set up in Rebels, but really came back around for the Thrawn stuff and the Ahsoka series. You know, because Mom did listen to her. You know, she was the only one really that was really willing to listen to Hera about, you know, everything. But they have a great relationship. I love that relationship. I want to see more of that relationship in Ahsoka season 2 between Mary Elizabeth.
I think we're going to get a lot more of her.
Bradley. Me too. I thought that they nailed that relationship so well. Jason Syndulla, who I wasn't sure about as a character the first time we saw him, but really came around for me. You know, that being the mother to him. You know, so yeah, son to two of our heroes that we named, Hera and Kanan.
It's odd to me though, like, and I'm not like super knocking it. Just funny that, like, so you look at her, the Twi'lek, and her kid's a human, and like, well, his hair's green though.
Yeah. It is an interesting thing.
His hair's green.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Oh, by the way, I'd be remiss if we didn't also mention the relationship between Hera and her father.
Yep.
So that was always awesome to me.
That was Bad Batch, wasn't it?
We got Bad Batch and Clone Wars and Rebels.
Yeah.
I think he's in all three. Yeah, I think he popped up in all three. I mean, Hera wasn't around in Clone Wars, but her dad was introduced in that. But what's up?
This is how you know it's getting late.
Yeah.
Her and Thrawn when he steals the art.
Yeah,
Her family. What's that called? What you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What's that called?
Family crest. Heirloom?
Well, no. Like they're her race, her culture has a name.
Oh, for it. Yeah. Oh, I can't remember. Either way,
like
yeah,
Google family heirloom.
Yeah, Google it really quick. But yeah, no, I always enjoyed that arc. I like that. I enjoyed everything, the kidnapping arc and all that. Man, I thought that all really worked very well. Like that was such a great thing. And then one of the reasons, when you look at that, is one of the reasons that Hera knows that Thrawn's such a threat by the time we get to the Ahsoka series. So that's I think a really important thing that actually came back around in a big way. But everything with Hera, man, really works. It always plays every single time. Yeah.
Calorki?
Yeah, there you go. I think you're right. I think you're right.
Syndulla Calorki, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember because she adds one of the rebels. Does she add all the rebels to it? To hers?
I think
so.
So
this means you're now part of the family?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think you're right about that.
No. If I remember right, isn't it she adds one of Sabine's artwork to it? Because there was a show that she believes in Sabine.
It was Sabine's artwork, right? Because Thrawn was making that connection too or something, I think, at one point as well. Trying to track him down and all that. Anyway, yeah, Hera's great.
Yeah, Hera's she's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I think I have every figure made except the hot toy yet.
I have no figures of Hera yet. That's sad. But she's a great character. I'll definitely get one. I'll get one of the I'd really actually like one of the Mary Elizabeth Winstead one.
I know. I literally found one today.
Oh, really?
So I can tell you after the show. Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Tell me after, so nobody goes and steals it. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But did you anything else on her?
I think that is every. I mean, the stuff of her in the New Dawn book, but I mean, it's not like as jarring as when you find out like Kanan was a complete drunk and like, really violent.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like how she kind of brings the Jedi out of him.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what she does. She finds her strong suit and just nurtures it.
Yeah, she does. She's a great nurturer. That's a good way to put it. She's a great nurturer. For sure. So is this the last one then? Mine? Or
we are on our last one.
Okay. You did Hera was your last one, and now this is Luke.
No. I have one left. You have one left.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. So mine's Luke Skywalker.
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on. I did have actually one left. It's gonna be short, but I feel like we can knock it out real quick. It got marked out by accident.
Okay.
Galen Ursa.
Oh, Galen. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about Galen really quick then. And then we'll do mine's Luke Skywalker, so we'll talk about that last.
My last one was Luke. Was going to set up to be Luke as well. So.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
So,
but I just noticed that Galen was I marked this out part of it.
Oh, okay.
But I never mentioned him.
Okay, so we never got around. Gotcha.
Yeah. So Galen, I mean, we'll just speed run it. There's not much on him, but he's still a cool character.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Go ahead.
His relationship with Krennic.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting aspect.
Yeah.
It's very much like Magneto and Charles. It always felt like.
Yeah, definitely. I like that analogy. I never made that comparison, but yeah.
The flaw he put into the Death Star plan purposely.
You have to mention him because he's one of the most heroic for that reason. Like he is the reason that the original trilogy or the original A New Hope is this. The heroes were successful in A New Hope when you think about it, which is crazy. In the very original Star Wars movie, without Galen Erso's character, that never would have happened. That's crazy to think about. But yeah, go ahead.
Basically, I mean, he made a deal with the devil to save his family.
Yeah,
metaphorically, to save his daughter.
Yeah.
trying to think anything else.
He did. He's talking about giving up everything.
Yeah.
I mean, not that he had much of a choice because of what he was set up with Krennic, but he really did. I mean, he could have died. It was like give up everything or die, and he gave up everything but he did it in a way that was like going to like you said, save his daughter, save everybody, save the rebellion. You know,
save the rebellion,
save the dream. Yep.
And if you haven't read, audience at home, if you haven't read the
Catalyst,
book,
yeah,
yes, that is a really good book.
I agree.
Yeah, and Mads Mikkelsen is just a terrific actor.
He really is. Yeah, so it's Mads Mikkelsen. Come on, I mean, what's not to love there?
Brother to Lars Mikkelsen, who plays Thrawn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, the scene with him and Jin with the hologram, that's just always a heartbreaking scene to watch, you know, when you watch it. It's really well acted.
He gets shot.
He does?
Yeah. No, like that scene, like that, but he gets shot. Just like
yeah. It's another one. Yeah, it's another one. Yeah, they have a couple heartbreaking scenes in that for sure. Yeah, when he gets shot. Yeah, man, that's great stuff. What do you think? Is that the speed round, or you got any more?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're good on that. I think we can now tackle the big dog.
All right, Luke Skywalker, guys. You knew it was coming. You can't end the episode without it. But Luke is, come on.
We didn't plan this order either. I didn't know he had Luke. He didn't know I had Luke.
Right, exactly. But we both are ending on Luke, so which is great. It's a great way to end the heroes portion and just kind of say that. What hasn't been said? I mean, because this is not everybody's, but so many people's favorite character of all time. In cinema, it's true. Like he's probably on a lot of people's lists as that. People hold this character up on a very high point on the pedestal. He's just Mark Hamill's performance as the character is just become iconic, and now I have my favorite rendition of Luke is not most people's. My favorite Luke or Mark Hamill performance as Luke. I shouldn't say my favorite Luke. My favorite Mark Hamill performance as Luke is Last Jedi. Like, I think that's just the best performance as Luke. I'll get that out of the way and then move on to my favorite Luke moments are Return of the Jedi, though. Like as character moments. Like I just think him overcoming and saving his father was fantastic. I thought that was just such a great arc for the character, and then it starts as a whiny teen boy, moving into full grown Jedi, who overcomes everything. And I mean, it's the character that people use to define the hero's journey, in cinema moving forward. And they everybody looks at Luke as the foundation for that, in so many ways when they make films, and he's the inspiration for so many movies moving forward, comics, books. So many people look to Luke Skywalker, and that's really that's a lot of strength, and another one of my favorite Luke moments is one of the obvious ones. It's the twin sons, man. Him looking out at the twin sons is, come on, that's everything. When you were a kid, it instills this inspiration in you, that sense of wonder. What else is out there? You know what I mean, in the world, and I think that people that gravitated toward that scene grew up with minds that are a little bit more wondrous and a little bit more creative, and that's because of that iconic imagery that George put in there of, you should be curious. It's good to be curious, about things that are out there and things of that nature. And then having all that thrown right back at him in Empire when Yoda's like, forget about what's out there, look at what's in front of you, but he overcoming all of that and redefining, to me anyway, what it truly meant to be a Jedi, and putting it in his own way. And yeah, I just love that arc, man. It's amazing, and Luke Skywalker's awesome. I mean, what do you got on Luke?
I'm gonna take a drink.
Okay. There's a lot probably to say here, so yeah.
So my love of Luke is actually from it's like a time capsule.
Okay.
Thing. That era of Luke I love.
Yeah.
And audience knows I talk about it. favorite Star Wars is Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And that is my favorite Luke, because I will go back to when I was a lad and my dad was showing me the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we got to that, and you're at Jabba the Hutt's
Mm-hmm.
palace. You got all these creatures, and he comes in. He's got like the cloak on,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's wearing all black.
Yeah.
The whole black outfit, and it's like a different Luke than
It's
you remember
sick.
from the last
Yeah.
movie. It's
Mhm.
such like a different change.
Yeah.
And you were with me when I bought this item. I said earlier I was getting a visual aid. This is one of my prized items.
Mhm.
Is the original. Oh, here we get him.
Can't see it very well.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Right there. Yep. That's awesome.
It's an original Return of the Jedi Luke.
Yeah. Keep talking.
77 back. One of my pride and joys, and you're actually with me when I bought them.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you got there?
Well, as you were with me when I bought this, I figured we should bring it up as this one, this original guy. Yeah.
Same day.
Yeah. It's not the original, but it was like the second wave. You know what I mean? So but this is still awesome. One of my pride possessions as well. I'm very Return of the Jedi Luke as well, but I always loved I loved the X-Wing stuff at the end of New Hope, man. Like the when he finally got to join the rebellion was always huge, and him blowing up the Death Star is iconic to me. So this was very important for me as well. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So, and one of my favorite things about Return of the Jedi Luke is his lightsaber. I own a very nice replica of it.
Yeah.
I love that lightsaber, because that's what makes him truly a Jedi Knight, because he built it himself. Yeah. And it echoes back to Obi-Wan's.
Mm-hmm.
You can see like all the different elements and inspirations into it. I love the design of it, the look of it, and just kind of like the storytelling in it.
Yeah.
The visual storytelling.
Yeah.
But the best saying about it is that Luke represents a symbol of hope.
Yeah.
And I'm going to poorly butcher a quote from Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
Where he talked about, so you have Luke going on a suicide mission.
Yeah.
Essentially, he has one gamble, and that's to win his father over.
Uh-huh.
And he's doing that all solely on hope alone.
Mm-hmm.
Hope and faith and that he can do.
Yeah.
My God, how could you not love that?
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah.
It's perfection.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the, like you said, you start with him being like this whiny. You get him as a whiny kid to kind of cocky.
Yeah.
To this monk like Ronin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like he's very he comes in when he first comes into the Jabba Palace. He has his hands together, and he's like, I want to negotiate the release.
Mm-hmm.
Then he gets the R2 shooting up the lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that little moment on the sail barge there. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's iconic. I mean, like you said, R2 shooting up the lightsaber, him coming in to save everybody. That the whole get Han out of there plan was very cool. Always enjoyed that. And
then him and now we're going to go into the EU with this.
Yeah, sure.
Because what I love about Luke carries on in the EU is, then you get him and Mara Jade's relationship.
Yeah.
And it starts off as rivals, and then it evolves. You get how he is, because with the Heir of the Empire.
Yeah.
That opening, which we'll talk about actually here in a minute, him calling out to the Force ghosts of Obi-Wan, and he's not sure, and his weird feeling because he's in Palpatine's old castle, and he still feels the presence in there, and he knows there's stuff that needs to be done still. That restless heroes, which kind of echoes back to that restless kid that wanted to leave Tatooine. Like, the mission hasn't started for him, but the mission hasn't stopped. But it feels like it's stopped. The X-Wing.
Yeah.
His X-Wing's wonderful. R2. I mean, you said it well. He's the perfect hero archetype.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite of it is Return of the Jedi era.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what he translates to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could almost like talking about Heir of the Empire really quick. I mean, you can almost call the original trilogy The Adventures of Luke Skywalker. Like you could title it that, and then you get the same thing. And I think that's one of the great things about the expansion with Heir of the Empire and the EU. Is like you're getting more Luke Skywalker adventures. You know what I mean? And it feels like really it brings you back to my childhood when you read that.
And what's crazy about it too is most of Heir of the Empire, he doesn't have the Force or his lightsaber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like he is just Guy.
Yeah, exactly. One of my favorite Luke moments, and a little controversial myself, is the end of Last Jedi. I like when he comes back to being Luke Skywalker. You know what I mean? That's what I personally take away from that movie, is that he does come back at the end and becomes the Luke that we all knew and loved. And I enjoy that comeback, and I enjoy him confronting him projecting himself halfway across the galaxy. I thought that twist was mind blowing, but that's just me. But I enjoy him confronting and when he gets shot down with all the freaking AT-ATs and brushing his shoulder off, I thought was dope. I enjoyed that confrontation with Kylo Ren, so to speak, and that's one of my favorite moments as well. But also Mandalorian. You gotta talk about the end of Mandalorian when he comes in to take out the Dark Troopers is sick. I mean, it's so sick. And it brought me right back. That whole episode really did bring me back to the Dark Forces game. But really in general, having Luke there to take them all out, and knowing if for anybody who's played the Dark Forces game, those Dark Troopers are some tough SOBs. So seeing Luke come in to take them all out was pretty neat. And then taking Grogu and I guess this would tie back into Mando, the whole moment, and Mando having to say goodbye to Grogu, which is crazy emotional. I thought the entire Luke Skywalker sequence in Mando was crazy emotional for a lot of reasons. But it really is that implication that Luke is the one coming to save Grogu or help Grogu and all that. And I just enjoy that moment so much. It means so much. And seeing Luke in the black and the green lightsaber again, it was so neat. The hood.
That's such a perfect combo.
It really is. It was so neat. I agree with you, Josh. As far as an aesthetic, that's my favorite look. I have a couple Luke dressed in black as well, and I love the Heir of the Empire look too. I have that figure as well. A couple of them actually.
Yeah, the Heir of the Empire is pretty much the same look.
It's close. Yeah, there's a slight variation, but yeah, it's pretty much the same look. Yeah. I mean, well, love it.
With that said, do we transfer really quickly to the Heir of the Empire?
Yes. So yeah, guys, that's our discussion on the heroes. We're going to talk about an Heir of the Empire fan anime film that came out. It's going to be a spoiler. We do recommend going to check out Jar Jar Jargon's channel and watching this, and then coming back and listening to our little spoiler discussion on this. It's again not a major Star Wars thing, but it's also at the same time a really cool fan project that we wanted to talk about. Like I thought it was a really neat idea. So let's get into that, Josh. Full spoilers ahead. What'd you think of this, man?
I actually like the animation a lot. It feels like something you'd see in Toonami like in the 90s.
Yeah.
The designs are cool. Voice acting's actually pretty decent for this being some dude's small project.
Yeah.
And then the elephant in the room is the big change they made.
Yes. So we'll talk about that in a second. So anyway, just really quick, I wanted to clarify the title is Star Wars Heir of the Empire, the anime episode 1. And like I said, this is on Jar Jar Jargon's channel. I thought this was fantastic. I really did. I was like, immediately what stood out to me is that it captured the tone that I was looking for, and it really did remind me of Heir of the Empire. Straight from the tone. And then, the one scene I didn't love in particular out of this, and, again, this is a fan film, so I'm not going harsh on this. I'm just saying for myself. Even though it was pretty accurate, at the same time, like I just thought, maybe could have been done a little bit punchier was the Han thing. The little Han bit wasn't my favorite, but everything else just firing on all cylinders in this, in my opinion. And it wasn't.
Ron's eyes glowing too. I love that.
Yeah, for sure. But by the way, it wasn't a tonal thing with the Han stuff. I thought he had the tone right. It was just maybe some of the pacing of the. I thought maybe he could have cut up the dialogue to be a little bit punchier. But anyway, aside from that, again, fan film, not going too hard. Yeah. So going into the big change at the end. Oh, talking about Thrawn. Not sold on the voice of Thrawn yet, though. That was one thing I would just not critique, but I maybe I need to see more of it. I'm assuming he says to be continued. I really do hope he does more of these. I'm assuming.
Well, I've heard he's doing the whole book, so
okay. I'm hoping that's the plan. Yeah, I hope he actually follows through because I'd like to spend a little bit more time with the voice actor who did Thrawn. Myself. Other than that, like you were saying, a lot of the voice work did really work, though. So yeah, the change is interesting. He went with Mace Windu instead of Joruus. Yeah. So I thought that was, I don't know how I feel about it.
That's what hooked me.
You like it?
I want to see where that goes.
Okay, I want to see where it goes. That's why I'm not going to like critique it yet because I don't know.
And I like the design. The design's really.
The design was neat. Yes, and by the way, the animation throughout this is stunning. So. Regardless of my little nitpicks, it's better than anything I can make. So, it's truly fantastic that this is a little independent fan project, and like I said, I do hope he follows through. Because this is probably the closest adaptation we'll ever get. And it really captures that tone. I love the usage of the. I want to know how he gets away with using the original score. By the way, because
it's not profit. That's why.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Like it's legit just a fan project.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, good point. Okay. So fair enough. Non-profit fan project. I mean, that's great though. It just, I could still feel the love of the source material throughout it. And I thought it was just really, really neat, man. Short, very brief. But the opening crawl got me excited, man. Like as you used the original opening crawl for it, and it was really cool, but it was almost like it was seeing Star Wars through a different lens, which is anime, which we've seen in like Visions and stuff before. Yeah. But like really.
And they did that Tales of Skywalker manga that I found.
Right. They've done a couple mangas at this point, but they've also but this was different than the other anime stuff that we've had. In the sense that this one, like me, captured that original trilogy tone, and it felt like just an extension of that while being a different format completely. So, which was the goal. I mean, I think it really nailed it, man. I gotta praise this, man. It's really fantastic stuff, and I can't wait to see what else, what comes next. And I mean, even though knowing the storytelling, it's still like it's wild to see this being made into an anime, honestly. And while everything about it's not perfect, it's
impressive still.
It's crazy impressive because honestly, with resources and things, like no fan film is going to be perfect. It's not going to, you know what I mean? And it's as good as it could be, I think. It was an interesting change, to change it to Mace Windu, and I want to see where it goes. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not sure how I feel about it yet. I just need to see where it goes. It is a hook, though. You're not wrong. It's a great hook because it's like, for those that know the source material, you're definitely going to be hooked, wanting to see how that plays.
Because he could be a clone of Mace.
Exactly. And it also kind of makes you wonder. It's like, okay, why did you change it to Mace? What are you going to do with this? And so like it's almost like it's a liberty that was taken that I'm hoping has a payoff, I guess, is kind of my point. You know what I mean? But yeah, very, very cool stuff. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, excited to see what he has next. What do you got on this, Josh? Anything else? Or
no, I mean, pretty much summing up as you keep doing it, we'll keep reviewing it.
Exactly. Yeah, keep doing it. We'll keep talking about it and getting it out there, hopefully. But yeah, man. That's it. That's the end of the episode. We've been going for a long time, so let's get out of here. Yeah, let's get out of here. But all right, guys. My name is Dom. That's Josh. Before we get out of here, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, hit the bell for notifications. Just a reminder, I just want to clear this up really quick. We're on Apple and Spotify. It's on the Dom Rambles podcast feed. It's not a Starlight Shadows podcast feed. It's Dom Rambles podcast feed. And that's where you can find this show for all you people who want to listen on audio only. So I just wanted to make that little clarification. And Josh, I know you usually don't have anything to plug, but we're going to be here.
I mean, check out Jar Jar Jargon's channel.
Oh yeah, that too.
Give it love, so he keeps making it.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see if he has anything else on there. By the way, speaking of which, I don't know if this is the only thing he's ever done, but I'm assuming he probably has done some other things, but Star Wars related. Hopefully, he seems like he's a very experienced creator. So, based on what we saw today, so I'm hoping he has more on there. But
looks like a lot of concept stuff.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, it's just a bunch of Star Wars videos, looks like.
Yeah.
Just like fan stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I'll check it out though. And also, yeah, guys, I'm not sure what we're gonna do next week, but we'll figure it out. We'll talk about something. So, yep. All right. Once again, my name's Dom. That's Josh. Do all the things, like, subscribe, share, all that. And with all that being said, let us know your favorite heroes, and we will talk to you guys later.
See ya.